Yeah. We have another co-host, Devin, who has mysteriously not been on in a couple weeks.
You
have to tell us legally.
I'm gonna run and grab a charger for my iPad real quick and use the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Okay. Seth, you gotta put... I can't see your face.
What?
Hold on. No, I can see your face. Oh, Seth. Anyway, so Seth, this is Charlie. It's hard to do introductions over Skype. Charlie, this is Seth.
Hello.
Pleased.
Are my headphones all the way on? I'm getting just like one ear.
Yeah, because you're stupid.
Oh no.
Nice.
Yeah, Seth, I like that baseball shirt you're wearing.
Oh, thank you. That's exactly what I thought when I bought it too. I had one when I was young that I would wear to baseball, but it was just usually instead.
You were like, God, I hope I can wear this one day to impress Charlie with my baseball shirt.
Yeah, I'm never gonna wear this shirt
stupid
again.
ass.
I'm gonna frame it and say Charlie complimented this.
No, like it reminds me of a lot of my friends growing up in Philly. They used to wear shirts exactly like that.
Going to Philly.
Shut up, Brand.
Caesar boy.
How are we starting this, Seth? I was telling Charlie we always do something usually nonsensical.
You warned him then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't
was
warned
trying
about
to
all
think.
of our
Chicanery.
Yeah, our sins.
It's a good amount of chicanery on here. I don't know. I was thinking about something earlier, but it was a bad idea, so I stopped thinking about it.
Lately, we've been just doing like a little skit that ends in us saying like, "Hello, I'm The Shining. It's me."
Yeah.
I'm Kubrick too.
Just do a job interview again.
Again.
We could all be like hoity-toity ballroom goers. But I don't do accents, so that's not going to work so well.
What's besides just being...
She got a bone?
Yep.
Ballroom guys.
Yeah.
What's what?
Are we just going to be hoity-toity? What else is in the premise?
I like hoity-toity.
I didn't have an end game.
I can do hoity-toity.
Okay. And then we'll do hoity-toity, and then at the end, someone will say, "Where's The Shining?" All right,
plug this in behind, the drill.
Yeah.
And into the iris.
Submit this to the
Into the iris.
Oh, it's so fun.
Which one do I unplug? Is the black one the printer, Brandon?
Usually it doesn't take this long to set up.
Just back on.
Somebody's goofing.
Or Danny's getting interviewed right.
God, what an 80s hairdo she's got.
Yeah. She's kind of a weird figure too, because she comes in and she's like, he's got an imaginary friend. His dad might have been abusing him, but he's
ripped
fine.
his arm out of his socket.
He's fine in the morning. Everybody has imaginary friends.
Well, imagine getting a doctor who actually still does house calls.
That's true. Yeah, that is a relic. Are you gonna win in fantasy, Seth?
No, probably not. Unless her remaining 3 players don't do anything against me. I scored 79 points. Right? Yeah. Huh?
What are you doing? That's tough.
How should you plug into the iPad?
Well, I was going to ask to make sure I unplugged the right one.
You did.
Printer, I think.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, I'm playing Alex. All of my players have gone, and I have 79 points in total. So if she can somehow not score 19 between her 3 remaining players, I'll be all right.
Did you see my fucking fantasy team?
I saw your running back out for the year.
Breece Hall's out for the year?
Mm-hmm.
Fuck!
You hate to see it.
Oh my god. He went out. DeAndre Swift was out. Michael Thomas was out. DK Metcalf got hurt mid-game.
Yeah, that's a rough week for you.
Brandon, you're in my spotlight.
Okay, so we've already decided how we're starting it too, unless you have objections, Brandon.
Okay,
or
I
a better
object.
idea.
We're just going to be hoity-toity English, powdered wig types, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we just kind of bit about, and then at the end, someone goes, "It's The Shining."
Okay.
What do you think?
Not bad. What if I move this over here?
It's The Shining.
It's The Shining.
Yeah, there's not like a good angle from here.
All right, let me know when you guys are ready. I'm ready to hit this flight switch.
Seth, you're too tall. There you go. That's better. Okay. I need my script up real quick. Devin, is not joining us this week. He was messaging me that he ran out of his insurance, his health insurance, and then he can't get his antipsychotic medications. So he had a real downer of a week. So he's not in the right headspace right now. But I told him, I was like, next week's your birthday week. Yeah, prayers up, Charlie. Next week's his birthday week, so he's gonna try and get everything back in order and on.
Okay. If he's still not
No, it's
good,
perfect.
it could be a Seth choice. We haven't had one of those in a while.
Seth's choice.
Yeah.
Seth's
No, we just had one like 3 weeks ago. Pretty recent.
What was that?
Spirited Away.
Morbius. Yeah,
Orb.
Oh, we went back to back, yeah.
we did do
Seth,
Spirited
you
Away,
should
yeah.
lean in this way a little bit.
All-time
I like this,
masterpiece.
though. Yeah.
Well, you're not going to be heard on the microphone.
That's totally fair.
We kind of did Spirited Away for like our spooky month, which doesn't exactly track, but neither does
Morbius.
Morbius.
Half the things we did.
Yeah. All right, you ready?
Yeah, let me just get up on our recording now.
Okay.
Oh, I wanted to listen to an old episode again, so I listened to Mel. I've been listening to Mel back. Might be our best episode. Mel is amazing.
Yeah, Mel is a movie directed by John Travolta's brother about a giant turtle these kids discovered.
And that's where we first brought up, it's the people's weed. It's where we first brought up The Tempest. And it's the first time it's another running joke. I can't remember. There were 3 things I was like, we did all those in one episode?
That was our origin story.
Exactly.
We're missing gold here.
It's our Tempest.
So, well, it's on the video.
Oh yeah, nice.
Everybody watches the video.
Weedy doidy. Okay. Oh, and I remember that one of the Cats facts was Mel was the first non-binary character in Hollywood. We were dying at that.
That was
stupid.
That.
Stupid. Okay. I am ready. I've got Audacity up. Ready? Perfect.
You ready?
Let's
do it.
1, 2, 3, play.
Oh, I say, old man, that Jack the Caretaker is such a bestial human being.
Yes.
Yeah. Vampires.
Wendy, fetch the applesauce.
It's over. It's over.
So, Lucas, I don't know what you're saying.
G'day, mate.
Well, I'll have it on good authority that this new caretaker has murdered or attempted to murder his wife and child in the course of his duty.
Now, that's a bold statement there, sir. Those are accusations that I do not take fondly to.
Are you from Savannah?
Who let this Texan in? All this
We don't take kind to your northern parts around here.
It's The Shining.
Vampires!
No, not vampires.
We're always vampires. Vampire weekend up here, because we do this every Sunday.
Okay.
In December, drinking horchata, I'd look psychotic in a balaclava.
Yes, we have a new voice, if you've heard on this week. Before we get into the movie, we have a guest. You also heard him in the intro. It is my friend Charlie McPherson.
Howdy, howdy.
McPherson?
McPherson.
McPherson, sorry, my apologies.
Very
Charlie,
Irish.
I met Charlie last year, right, in
Yeah.
the English teaching department at the University of Montana. And we bonded over Kubrick, a love of Kubrick films, nonetheless.
Yeah, we put together a really fire lesson plan about Full Metal Jacket and Apocalypse Now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Lukas is great.
Is that?
Oh, appreciate
That's when you watched Apocalypse Now at my place, doing your laundry and shit.
it. It was. That's correct. Yeah, I was
Oh,
a lesson
okay.
plan on Vietnam literature.
Real quick, is one of if both of your guys' mics are on Zoom, you should mute one of you guys.
I think we just have one.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say there might be a little reverb, but maybe it's just picking up on both ends, and maybe you sound like
Okay.
that to us.
There's a little reverb in my ear.
Okay, then maybe that's just
I
what
don't know
it
how to
is.
deal with it.
Yo,
Maybe
it's
I'm
like
just-
Blue Oyster Cult said, don't fear the reverb.
Exactly.
I'm just a dumb fuck then. Oh shit! I got some questions for you guys.
Hit it, Brandon.
The first question is: do you like Jack Nicholson?
Of course.
I think like is kind of the wrong word to use. He's just kind of a force of nature.
Yeah. Seth?
It's like saying, do I like
a hairline?
That's interesting.
That's what you like about him is his hairline?
Yeah, I think it's awesome. We know a
think it's
guy with that
iconic.
exact hairline. It is iconic.
Yeah.
That
It's
guy.
iconic.
It.
There we go. Shout out Connor.
Shout out Connor.
Shout out Rat Boy.
Always shout out Rap.
What's
Boy.
your other question, Brandon?
Do you guys like that song Second Chance? Sometimes goodbye is a second
What?
chance.
It's Shinedown.
By the
No.
band Shinedown.
Oh, I see. A crisp,
Sometimes
clear connection.
goodbye is a second chance.
I do. That's a good song. Yeah.
I think I need to start drinking to follow that analogy.
And my third question is: do you like the shirts that Lukas, his podcast shirt?
Oh, that's a great shirt.
Oh yeah.
I was hoping you would wear it because if you answered yes to any of these questions, you've come to the right place. This is the good, the bad, and the movies. This week we watched The Shining from 1980,
Wow. We sure did, boys.
and I literally just finished it. I tried to get so many hours off this week because my brother came to town with his girlfriend. My mother-in-law flew in from Anchorage, and instead work scheduled me 60 hours this week. So
Oh,
fucking rocked.
Damn, that's the man for you.
You didn't see anybody.
Did you watch it in a spooky setting?
I literally watched 30 minutes of it in Walmart today.
That qualifies as a spooky
yeah,
setting.
It was scary.
Yeah, being forced to put your life aside for your work week. Like
That
that's
is
kind of horror. on its own,
terrifying.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Give me the
And,
Overlook over Walmart any day.
And before we get into it, we're drinking beers today. Are you guys drinking anything over there?
We're not in particular. We're not huge on the beers.
Yeah, we're a bunch of teetotalers over here.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot. It was
We're on the
tea.
wagon.
Oh yeah, that's right.
With the
Ah.
overall theme of alcoholism,
Not appropriate, exactly.
We apparently were deaf to those tones.
Yeah. Well, to end this Spooktober Fest for the Downtown Spookboys,
That's us.
that is us. I had
That is us.
you pick up something.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did. Thanks.
Thanks for
Shout out
noticing.
Seth for picking up beers.
It's just the brewery I'm at. Sorry, I thought I
Bam!
heard something. Bam, yeah.
Bam!
They made an Oktoberfest. It's wood aged Marzen, whatever. I'm not sure what that means exactly.
I'm kind of upset that it doesn't say Oktoberfest on the can.
I promise it is. It's wood aged. You're gonna get actually an oaky afterbirth on this one.
Fuck yeah, I love an Okie Afterbirth.
And
Nice.
subtle notes of graham cracker and cherry.
Is that legit?
Interesting.
Very
Oh
subtle.
my
It's
God.
not sweet or anything, but
The way you said very subtle reminded me of The Office when they have the coconut dick flavored drink. He's like, the coconut's pretty subtle in here.
I miss original. Yeah.
I miss original. Why'd they have to add the coconut?
That's right.
So it's gonna be like a LaCroix. It's gonna be like our.
This is not gonna be like
It's
it's,
like-
gonna be
it's-
like a beer.
It's gonna be like the Black O' Lantern we had last week, where it was like brewed near a pumpkin patch because it didn't
Yeah.
taste anything like pumpkin.
This was like there were cherry scents nearby while it was fermenting.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna get that.
Perfect. I
Yeah.
love it. Well, let's crack it.
Okay.
Nice. Solid crack.
Yeah.
Solid crap.
Thanks,
What?
Brandon.
You're welcome.
You're really classing the joint up here tonight.
That's what I do.
That is what we do.
All
We've got
right.
far bluer than this.
We were so classy in the intro, we had to keep it going.
Well, because we were vampires.
Well, you were hoity-toity ball-going types.
Okay, that is beer.
That's
I like
beer.
it. And if you noticed our Facebook or Instagram posts, we got a package yesterday from a fan.
What, did you open it? That's not safe.
The comments were crazy.
We got a
It's a
bomb
bag
from
of
a fan.
white powder.
Literally, the comments,
Thanks, guys.
like we
There's
had
a
comments on there. It was
comments.
like anthrax. It was like unsolicited dick pics. It was like
Who sent us
That's
the
so-
package?
the package from one of our biggest fans, Mr. Bill Tilson.
Oh, no way. Star
He
of
sent
Mel.
us a package with a
Star of Mel.
Star of Mel.
Codename Bilson.
He wrote Bill. He signed it Bilson on there.
Oh, he did.
In quotations,
So
Bill Bilson Tilson.
Please tell me it's Mel merchandise.
It's not Mel merchandise. So
Bill
he
Bilson
sent us
Tilson
a
is
beer
so
for
funny.
next week to do.
Oh, cool.
So we're gonna be doing that. He also sent us some bottle openers, some pens, and Coeur d'Alene police like patches
Okay.
to use as coasters.
Oh, nice.
So
I'll put
we
my
gotta
drink on
package
one
some
of those.
fan mail.
That's insane.
So we'll have to ship you yours.
Fair. Or I'll come to Billings soon.
Either or.
Also fair.
Fair. So
Just.
that is it for now.
No.
Are we kicking it to me now?
We're kicking it to you. You don't know, but Lukas wrote the script again.
Again?
Because I worked 60 hours
Again.
this week.
Again.
Yeah. And I have a professed love of Stanley Kubrick. So I will take you through some of the skeleton framework here of the structure. Are you correct, Brandon?
You are correct, my good sir.
All right, today's movie was directed by Stanley
Movie.
Kubrick. Yeah, movie.
Thanks.
He's like an unapproachable director. We all know him. I've listed his movies here. We've talked about it before. He's done Spartacus, Lolita, Doctor Strangelove, 2001: A Space Odyssey, which we've done on this podcast, A Clockwork Orange, Barry Lyndon, The Shining here today. I don't know why I listed the movie we're doing, and then Full Metal Jacket and Eyes Wide Shut. He's Stanley Kubrick.
He's the Coobs.
He's the Kubrick.
2000.
You guys, we might have done this in 2001, but what's your guys' history with Kubrick's films? The only
It
seen
was-
2001.
I'm looking them up right
Yeah.
now because I was listening to you, and it was just 2001. I've seen bits of Eyes Wide Shut and Full Metal Jacket, but never all the way through. And I had seen this like 6-7 times before, so.
Damn. What about you, Seth?
Just these two we've done. I'd seen The Shining a few years ago, but was kind of half paying attention because I was like 16 and not really like a sophisticated 16-year-old, you know. I was a classic 16-year-old. So it was good to rewatch.
Classic edition. What about you, Charlie?
Classy.
I think I saw 2001 when I was like 12 or 13.
Mm.
I saw Clockwork Orange when I was 17. I had my wisdom teeth out.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, hell yeah.
Um,
Perfect pairing.
Oh, Jesus
Like
Christ.
wine and cheese, The Shining and
Um,
A Clockwork Orange
Clockwork
and Wisdom
Orange.
Teeth.
yeah, and I saw this Shining in my like early 20s, and that was eye-opening.
Got the right guy on, boys.
Oh, I remember what I was talking about Mel, listening back. It's the first time we ever brought up Cronenberg.
Really?
Yeah, and
How?
then flash forward a couple months, we did a Cronenberg film.
We did
Crazy, huh?
Videodrome.
Mel is a pioneer.
Why
of
did
episodes.
Why would Cronenberg come up?
We were talking about how scary it was.
I don't remember. None of us had seen Cronenberg at the time, but it is interesting here that even the wide spectrum of film lovers have all seen The Shining. It seems. It seems like almost canonical in America's filmography. Movies.
Movies.
What are you guys doing?
Oh, Marina's just yelling in the other room. Luna's out there,
Yeah.
and apparently Caesar's getting her. Whatever that means.
Yeah.
A dogfight.
A full-on dog fight.
All right. Moving on to the writer.
Move on to the writer.
I think you may have heard of him. It's Stanley Kubrick. But he also
I don't know
co-wrote
him.
it with a novelist named Diane Johnson, who's famous for novels such as Les Divorces, Les Mariages, Les Affaires, and Lulu and Marrakesh. And then obviously the movie is based on the novel by Stephen King.
Yep.
Were those
which
all?
I think is.
Like,
Oh, sorry. It was,
were those 4 separate books, or was like Les Mariages, Les Divorces, Les
Just a
Affaires
stream
one,
of
and then
French
a second
words.
one? Yeah.
With
I
no
think they were
pause in between.
Where were
4
the
separate
commas?
books.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'd never even heard of some of these books. Have you guys read these?
No.
The
Charlie,
last one
have you
sounded
read any of
familiar.
these?
Nope.
I don't know. She seems like a real highbrow, like gothic literature lady, but it's interesting. Le divorce, le mariage.
Le mariage, l'affaire. Yeah, nope.
That was some good French.
Ouais, je suis pas français. Et quoi de ça?
That's my
Oui.
French.
Tu veux continuer avec moi?
Oh shit.
I
Respondez
went
s'il vous
trouble
plaît.
Non, c'est pas grave. Ne vous préoccupez pas.
All right, move. I
don't
mean,
know.
we can talk
I'm
about
too
Stephen
white,
King a little bit.
too
if you
white
guys want
trash for
to.
that. What is that?
What do you guys think about Stephen King?
I am not a reader, so I don't like read any of his things.
For shame.
But I have really enjoyed like a ton of his movie adaptations because I mean there are some of his classic horror ones, but then you sparse in your Shawshank Redemption, your Stand By Me,
Your Green Mile.
your Green Miles, and then you've got Misery. You've got didn't you do The Mist? That was a pretty shitty movie though, I remember. But
I think he liked that movie. It's interesting. Me and Charlie, I think we were talking about this maybe yesterday or last week, but Stephen King often has very cinematic type of books, I feel like, that often translate better to the film. It kind of can alleviate the problems that he often has in his books.
Yeah, because Stephen King is one of those authors who just insists on just writing the thing, not really plotting it out, which means that the endings always suck. And because of his really fertile imagination, some director is able to pick it up and turn it into something more than the sum of its parts.
that sounded exactly like my history on Hayao Miyazaki then, where he doesn't write anything, he just does it.
He just sort of picks it up along the way. It is interesting, I think, because that's sort of the case here with The Shining, where it's an unassailable masterpiece, and kind of the same with like The Shawshank and Green Mile in that sort of same regard.
Yeah, you just named
Carrie,
3
Carrie,
masterpieces.
oh,
Oh, Carrie, yeah.
Brian De Palma. Oof. Yeah.
Yeah.
Movie. Okay, moving on to our cast.
Moving.
It's a pretty brief cast. It's all set in one place, obviously, so it's pretty self-contained. We got Jack Nicholson. We got Shelley Duvall. We got Danny Lloyd playing Little Boy. We have potentially the best name in human history, Scatman Crothers.
That's literally my second note that I took while watching this is I'm saying it now. Who the fuck is Scatman Crothers? Like that took me back like more than the movie itself. Like what the?
It's a sick stage name.
Like JoJo Candles.
I think he's
No,
a
his
jazz
birth name is
musician.
Ben.
That's why it's Scatman.
He is. What a great origin.
I'm the Scatman.
I had to look it up. It's a name he came up with, but he did a good job with it. I think his name was Ben.
Ben Crothers.
Uncle Ben.
It was like
And then
Benjamin Simon or something.
And then to round it out, we got Barry Nelson and Philip Stone, some white dudes.
Nice.
Very white.
Kubrick loves his white dudes in the periphery of his movies.
And tapers. He loves
He does love
tapers.
He
He
loves
hates tapers. He spent like an hour killing them.
Yeah, you're right. He's cruel to them.
And I might be going on a limb here, but I think he loves the Downtown Spookboys.
Ooh. He would if he was alive.
We'll get the Ouija board out
Is he
later.
not?
He's long dead, Seth.
Him and Big Rod
Long
would
dead?
love. Yeah,
I think he
long
died
dead.
around year 2000, right?
Yeah, I think like right after Eyes Wide Shut.
Yeah.
Eyes Wide Shut came out.
That was
That did him
99.
in. Yeah, so right around then.
So he didn't even make it to 2001. I forget how old that movie is too.
Oh, shit. R.I.P. For the plot of this movie today,
It's for you, Pops.
we're getting into it. It's a family heads to an isolated hotel for the winter, where a sinister presence influences the father into violence, while his psychic son sees horrific forebodings from both past and future.
What? That sounds like some
What?
voodoo
It's like a
shit.
Tim Allen shit.
Tim Allen would have been so good as Danny in this movie.
Like the age he is now, but he's playing a 10-year-old.
Danny's not here, Mrs. Torrance. And you're like, Tim, let's be a kid here.
Yeah, I think he was doing time at this point for his cocaine deal.
Oh, and his asshole, that's right.
He must have been in prison. He probably got reached out to.
One of my technicians was like,
sure they tried to book him for this.
Yeah.
We gotta have this guy.
No doubt in my mind.
One of my technicians was like, "Oh, I love the Santa Claus movie so much," and I was like, "Well, we have to watch it on the podcast coming up." So it's a part of our new rule.
We have to watch it.
Yeah,
If I'm a
anytime
guest for
there's
that
a
one, we
sequel
will be
or remake.
drinking through the Santa Claus.
I forgot they're doing another one.
They're doing
It's a 2022 one. We gotta see it in theaters, I think.
Yeah, that's
think
the
it's-
rule.
I think it's only coming to Disney Plus. Maybe I'm wrong, but
We'll have to rent a theater and screen it ourselves, I guess.
We'll
All
have
right,
to
so we'll
buy
be
a
drinking
theater.
paint thinner then.
Yeah.
See what the
Paint thinner
Babcocks up to.
popcorn.
Free asbestos.
Hell yeah. They're showing Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind in a couple weeks.
Ah,
I'd love to see that.
You did?
Yeah. I mean, again.
Oh.
In a theatrical setting. Do you guys want to hear some
Dark.
history?
Yeah.
I would love.
Okay, I'm getting a lot of reverb in my... Because I'm going to be talking for a while, so I'm going to ditch my headphones. Ready, set, go.
Wait.
Stanley Kubrick was a champion of creating one-off genre masterpieces. Had wanted to tackle a horror movie for a long time. He was offered and refused to direct The Exorcist because they wouldn't even let him produce it. And after the relative box office failure of Barry Lyndon in 1975, Kubrick set out to make a horror movie that was both financially and artistically successful.
Jesus. Oh my God.
What do we have? What?
When you picked up your headphones,
Just a lot of rustling.
it was just noise.
Yeah.
And I think when you took off your headphones, the
It's like
reverb got like 4 times as bad.
Oh, maybe I should just keep them on and just struggle through it then.
I heard something about The Exorcist that it wasn't going to do it, and Barry Lyndon was a flop, which you watched recently.
I did. I watched it for the first time this week, and such a beautifully charming, funny, tragic, great movie.
I had never heard of that one before, so.
yeah, I think that's one of his lesser-known works.
It's super long, like all Kubrick movies. This is like kind of a breeze compared to his other movies.
At 2 hours and 26 minutes, yeah, such a breeze.
Yeah, and it's really grand and epic, but it's like the foibles of this like kind of like Irish.
Good word.
Yeah, thank you.
Foibles?
Foibles.
I think Kubrick should really take some notes from Clifford the Big Red Dog and really trim the fat, you know?
Yeah, make it an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I think Kubrick would see that as cramping his style. You know, he's just really operatic with everything he does.
Totally.
Clifford's always been cramping Kubrick style. Clifford and Kubrick.
That would have been an interesting adaptation. The Kubrick Clifford. All right,
Clifford v. Kubrick in the Octagon.
Another history, rather. A history tidbit.
Yes.
Kubrick had his staff bring him stacks of horror books as he planted himself in his office to read them all. Kubrick's secretary heard the sound of each book hitting the wall as the director flung it into a reject pile after reading the first few pages. Finally, one day the secretary noticed it had been a while since she had heard the thud of another writer's work biting the dust. She walked in to check on her boss and found Kubrick deeply engrossed in reading The Shining. This is driving me insane, but whatever. But yes,
We can never do this setup again.
No.
Unfortunately.
I'm developing schizophrenia as I talk.
Early onset.
Yeah,
Perfect for the film we watched. So
some might say.
most.
Maybe even adult onset.
Yeah, I think Kubrick was such a bibliophile that he would just read a shit ton of books and look for inspiration for his films out of them. And yeah, he came across Stephen King's novel about this recovering alcoholic and his family going to this isolated hotel in the middle of nowhere. And he said, yeah, I can work with this. Bet. I could just tinker around with this just a little bit and really make it pop.
Yeah.
I think I have another history tip that leads directly into that and sort of the manipulation of the novel, because Stephen King has famously disavowed the film as an adaptation of his work.
I knew that he hated this film.
He hates it. And he's been at odds with the film and filmmaker for some time. He said it's the only adaptation of one of his works that he remembers hating. Diane Johnson here said about the novel, "Among us, The Shining is not part of great literature. It is scary, it is effective, and it works without further ado, but it's precisely interesting to see how a very bad book can also be very effective. It's quite pretentious, but it also is true that one has less scruples when destroying it. One is aware that a great work of art is not being destroyed." So basically...
He had it coming.
Have any of you guys read The Shining then?
Yep.
It's, from what I know, I've not read it, but from what my mom has told me of like reading in the 80s too, like it is very engrossing and sort of that same page-turning style where it did grab a lot of the people. Is that the same for you, Charlie?
I think it's good.
Mm-hmm.
It's, how do I put this? It's a little cheesy because I think Stephen King is really putting himself in the character of Jack Torrance, but Jack Torrance in the novel is this dedicated family man, and he's really trying to get over the alcoholism, and everything is coming from without. It's all the haunted hotel that's possessing him, whereas in Kubrick's version, it's pretty clear that Jack is crazy as they're driving up to the hotel.
Yeah.
There's more of like a haunted house, sort of spooky ghost behind every corner.
Yeah. Yeah, and some of those scares are a little bit lame, like you were talking about this earlier.
Totally.
I don't know why, but I went back to you saying like you were getting schizophrenia from the sound and from like I was like fitting for the movie, and I was just thinking like if you said something that like wasn't like mental illness related at all, like God, this sounds just giving me such bad asthma right now. And I was just like, what the hell, Brandon? Quit thinking that. Quit that.
I'm trying to imagine like being scared by a book right now.
It's crazy.
You turn the page, you're like, ah!
My mom told me that she came down, it was like 1980 when they were reading it, she came down and her cousin was reading it at like 3 a.m. in his underwear at the kitchen table and just like sweating and like flipping through so quickly.
He was reading it like, it's like that bit where the
giving
like
himself
fast
jump scares when the page is too fast.
It's like
oh my God.
It's literally the
Another
fastest
ghost?
reader in the world. Like he's going crazy.
He never slept again.
Yeah.
Maybe we're all a little bit spoiled in the days of like really good TV and really good movies. But yeah, Stephen King's novels were generally pretty gripping. I just think that for today's viewer and reader, they're just a little bit cheesy.
It's I mean, there's obviously a rich history of like horror literature before horror movies and everything. I don't know if they were they trying to like achieve the same effect essentially, like scare, like a pulpy scare in like the 1890s. I guess I haven't really thought about it.
I think like some of those old gothics. Yeah, some of those old gothics definitely were doing that. And I don't know about jump scares, but
yeah, that'd be interesting. I definitely feel like especially the gothic influence in this movie too.
Yeah.
All right, last little tidbit of history here. The Shining had a prolonged and arduous production period, often with very long work days. Principal photography took over a year to complete due to Kubrick's highly methodical nature. Actor Shelley Duvall famously did not get along with Kubrick, frequently arguing with him on set about lines in the script, her acting techniques, and numerous other things. Duvall eventually became so overwhelmed by the stress of her role that she became physically ill for months. At one point, she was under so much stress that her hair began to fall out. It was sort of Kubrick's like famous technique in this movie to essentially abuse Shelley Duvall to no end to get a depiction of an abused woman on screen.
Yeah,
gaslight girl boss, dude.
I was talking with this about my mom when I said that we were doing The Shining. She's like, didn't Shelley Duvall like go like crazy during the filming of this? Because like Kubrick would make her film the same scene like 200 times in a row just to get her to lose her mind about it, and then that would be the take that they would use. So yeah,
I mean it fits in with her character, I think.
100%. Yeah.
It's just we have to question the ethics of a director like actually abusing someone to get the portrayal of an abused person.
That's fair.
Can't question a dead man.
Yeah, but on the
Yeah, we
other
can.
hand, you can't fake that kind of emotion.
That's true. I mean, that's part of why The Shining, I think, is so unassailable, because everything was done with the most authenticity as possible.
And
There's no cutting corners.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and apparently Shelley Duvall and Stanley Kubrick, they were cool after the movie was released.
Well, that's good.
And yeah, she wasn't scarred to work with them. I don't think he ever offered it again. But
They were afterwards. They were friends with benefits. They really made up.
They hit it off like crazy.
He's actually kind of a chill dude, When he's not abusing me, he's a great guy.
Hey, I just left my husband who just tried to murder me and my kid. Do you want to go out with me?
No, that was a movie, Shelley. We just filmed a movie.
Yeah, lighting her cigarette in her hand.
That's fun. All right, off the cheery topic of abused women, do you guys want to guess the budget of this movie?
If you're doing the books, you better not fudge it, so let's play a game called Guess That Budget.
Oh my god. I don't want to guess anymore.
Good. Moving on. We sped through it today.
What do you guys think the budget of this one? Shining, 1980. Charlie, do you want to go first? I don't know if you know the answer.
I'm going to guess 27 million.
Okay.
Not bad.
Shouldn't have gone first.
Think you want to go last?
You guys there?
Hello?
All right. Seth, your turn to guess.
What?
Oh, okay. He did write the script.
I got skipped.
28 million.
There's a big void. Brandon, your turn.
Knowing Kubrick, it's 1980. I don't know the money thing, but knowing him, he likes to spend quite a bit. But there's not a ton packed into this as far as effects or anything. It's just brilliant filmmaking. I'm gonna go 20 million.
Nearly hit it on the head. It is $19 million.
Yes.
Fuck yeah.
Seth, you're in last place.
That's fair. It's bound to come
Or is
back
it like
to me.
The Price is Right? If you go over, you're just out.
Seth always wants to play by Price is Right rules, by Seth rules. Where are you going, Seth?
Oh, he's just adjusting.
I tried to do that.
Getting a good view up his nostrils. It's good.
Kind of forgot the camera was on there. I was just trying to turn the volume off.
Now we're both in here. You're supposed to position it for just you. What the fuck are you doing? Why
There
are
we go.
All right,
Seth.
Brandon, your turn to guess opening weekend in the Americas, in America and Canada.
12 million.
Okay. Seth?
I don't know, 13 million.
Fuck you.
I
ass.
didn't want to say 9. That was my next guess.
What about you, Charlie?
I'm going to say 8 million.
It's kind of a goofy one. It's only $622,337.
Damn.
That is pretty goofy.
Goofy guy.
Yeah, I think it was a limited release. They only released it on 10 screens or something like that. So it made a crazy amount per screening, but it was very limited to start.
Not like a true opening weekend then.
No, and I believe it came out the same weekend as Empire Strikes Back too. So
Well, it is fucked then.
Yeah, exactly. Why would they do that?
No, why would
Because
he
it's
do
Kubrick.
I'll
show you Luke Skywalker.
Got an ego and made $600,000.
It was a goof.
that? Jack Torrance versus Luke Skywalker in their prime. Luke Skywalker with a lightsaber, or Jack Torrance with the axe.
With
Best on
schizophrenia.
best.
A crazy man versus a trained
The Force
militant
versus the
soldier.
Shine.
Ooh.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a good one. The Force.
I'm liking
still,
this
though.
conversation.
the Force clearly wins.
There's
The
a clear
lightsaber
winner, but it's a
clearly
fun
wins.
conversation.
That makes Danny Luke Skywalker and Jack is Darth Vader.
Oh.
Yeah. The parallels are uncanny.
And they're there. All right.
They're
uncanny.
definitely there.
So for U.S. and Canada, total set. We'll go with you first,
Do you say my name?
You're
Yes.
going first.
sir.
Total.
Canada and U.S.
Right. 22 million.
Okay. Brando.
I was gonna say 31.
Okay, and Charlie?
I'm gonna go low. I'm gonna say 12 million.
12 million. Total, it made $45,634,000. Kind of a late bloomer. It's interesting. I don't know if horror had sort of taken the box office fascination that it has today, where like every horror movie makes $1 trillion. But I don't know. Quite a bit. Made its money back.
Yeah, it did.
I think he satisfied his goal of being commercially successful. And worldwide, what do we think it is? Here, Charlie will go first. He made $45 million domestic. Worldwide total.
I'm gonna say 62 million.
Okay. Seth?
45 million.
Okay. Interesting. Brandon?
Motherfucker, I was gonna say 48, but now I need to bump it up a little bit, so I'm not a cop. 52 million. Oh, 52 million.
I think Seth is still closest overall because it was 47.
I should have said 48, motherfucker.
You should have done Price is Right, man.
Actually, well, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna be a cheap ass like you.
I'm a winner, is what I am. Call me what you will.
Call yourself a winner when you buy your fucking fans a Subaru, you ass.
Okay, that's fair.
I was thinking about buying you a Hot Wheel so you could ship it to a fan of just like a Subaru.
Oh yeah,
we didn't specify what kind of Subaru.
I could definitely do that. Okay, I'll have to go to Walmart
Giveaway
tomorrow.
month. Yeah.
We still have to do that giveaway.
Mm-hmm.
Who won?
I was going to announce it on
Next week?
No, today.
Okay. We'll wait till the end, I guess.
No, we should do it next week because we need to give the whole month of October. So if you're listening, no, because this is gonna come out by the time we record next week.
Yeah.
So we're fucked. So I'm gonna announce it at the end.
Yeah. I'm so excited. I hope it's me.
You didn't submit anything.
Wait, what?
Are you guys ready for some taglines?
Yes.
All right,
Yes,
I got 4 of them.
Make Charlie do them.
Yeah.
Oh, good idea.
Cut your teeth.
So we got our 4 taglines right there.
This is my old job. Do it right.
Iconic terror from the #1 bestseller writer.
Nice.
A masterpiece of modern horror. The horror is driving him crazy. He came as the caretaker, but this hotel had its own guardians who've been there a long time.
Nice.
I love
That was
the
very
dual
spooky.
Charlie
Yeah, he
camera
beat me
spray.
already. I feel like shit now.
I was surprised, Seth, before we get into our favorite, that you didn't laugh at he came.
I tried my best not to. I was this close.
That's
No,
a wild
every time.
tagline. He came as a caretaker, but the hotel had its own guardians who'd been there a long time.
Yeah,
That gives away an interpretation of a movie.
it does a little bit. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
like
it does.
an interpretation I hadn't really thought of to this point either. I didn't know it needed protecting.
Of course.
It also, like, the tagline kept getting better, and at a certain point, it was like, okay, that's enough.
Stop.
And I think that's a run-on at that point. And that's not what
Yeah.
taglines are for.
Put a comma. You need a semicolon.
There's no commas in the tagline.
Kubrick was not one for brevity.
Definitely not.
What was the third one again?
The horror is driving him crazy.
That one was kind of goofy to me. I think it's good, but it made me laugh a little bit.
It does. I don't like any of the ones that are ever like, based on this book or, coming this. But the first one actually, I didn't hate.
Probably would have been effective at the
Mhm.
time. All right. Moving on to Cat's Facts time.
Well, we got to come up with a name.
We always
Um,
name Cat's Facts. We got the facts. The facts
It's
thing.
Jack Facts.
Jack Facts. A lot of Jacks in this movie. Yeah, it could be Jack Facts.
It's got to be Jack Facts or Axe
All-
Facts.
Does it
I'll-
have to be Jack Facts?
All work and no facts make Jack a dull boy.
All facts and no facts makes facts a dull fact.
You always put too many into the big phrase of the movie. All
Jack
facts and no
Facts?
play is good, though.
Okay, Seth, all facts no play.
Yeah.
All facts and no play.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Makes the good, the bad, and the movies a dull boy.
Woo! Nice.
Cat facts. So this is our, for the new listeners and Charlie, this is our section where we do trivia on the movie, some goofy trivia. So here we go. To get Jack Nicholson in the right agitated mood, he was fed only cheese sandwiches for 2 weeks, which he hated.
But I'm sure it was just Kraft singles on like White Wonder.
Was it
It had to have been.
Was it just uncooked? Like it's just cheese,
Yeah, not
bread,
grilled cheese.
no sauce.
Son of a bitch, yeah.
I think that'll get you in the mood to kill your family.
Definitely.
I mean,
For
it's
2
better than
weeks
the
straight.
it's better than Christian Bale on The Machinist, which was an apple and a pack of cigarettes a day. So
Well,
He's
whole
pretty
pack
mad
of
too, I bet.
cigarettes?
I don't know how many he smoked, but
I know it was an apple a day, and it did not keep the doctors away.
an apple a day gives you
Plus a cigarette,
an apple a day kills you.
if it's just the apple.
Yeah.
Our next cat's fact, a famous one, is that the production needed over 60 doors and eventually a stronger reinforced door for the scene where Jack smashes it with an axe, as Nicholson had no problem chopping his way through a door as a former volunteer fire marshal.
Oh.
So he's just like, get these weak-ass doors out of my way. He's just ripping through them.
That's really funny.
Like,
You know,
can
when you watch that scene, like he's got some pretty good like
Great
body
form,
dynamics.
yeah.
Yeah.
Can you tone it back a little bit, Jack? We're going through too many doors here.
We need you to look crazy, not like a professional.
Okay, guys, I'm really sorry. I swear.
The next Catman fact.
Retake.
Did I say Catman fact?
Scatman.
Scatman
I'm
facts.
like, oh, we
Scat
should have
facts
said
would've
the
been perfect.
Scatman facts.
Here is a
Scat
Scatman
facts.
fact, because
Devin.
Scatman Brothers was in Bronco Billy of 1981, directed by Clint Eastwood after this film. He broke down in tears following the filming of his first scene, as Eastwood famously only does single takes in recordings for his movies. So he's like, I did not fear for 17 days. You just did that in one take? Oh my god.
He literally went from Clint Eastwood solo take man to Kubrick
No, the other
200
way
take
around.
man. Yeah.
Yeah. Just so grateful.
And Scatman Scrubbers, rather. He was a jazz
Scatman
musician, so everything that he did was like an improvisation. I'm having a stroke over here. Don't worry
Yeah.
about me.
He's
Just smells
having
like
a
burnt
strong-
toast. So I'd imagine that Kubrick's very methodical way of doing things was probably real frustrating for Scatman Crothers.
I think
Yeah,
you mean Skubrick.
Kubrick, yes. His name literally is like Improvisation Man. And he has to go with the most rigid director in movie history. That's funny. Exactly. My next cat fact here is that Danny Lloyd famously didn't know he was filming a horror movie and was told they were making a drama movie to preserve his innocence and temperament. He didn't see a full cut of the film until he was 17, but he did remain in touch with Kubrick throughout their lives.
Nice. That it's funny because there's a YouTube video that I watched once where it was like where they make like movie trailers but in a different theme, and they did The Shining but as like a family movie, and it's just like so much of like Danny being happy, like riding his tricycle around, and they're throwing the ball to each other, and he sees the twin girls and they're all having fun, and
A couple of playmates.
yeah.
The Grady twins. That's funny. Let's see here. This is a kind of a funny one, a long one. Stephen King was first approached by Stanley Kubrick about making this movie via an early morning phone call. King, of course, was suffering from a hangover. He was shaving, and at first thinking one of his kids was injured, and he was shocked when his wife told him Stanley Kubrick was on the phone. King recalled that the first thing Kubrick did was to immediately start talking about how optimistic ghost stories are, because it suggests that humans survive death. What about hell? King asked. Kubrick paused himself for moments before finally replying, I don't believe in hell. King replied to him that there are people who do, and that they fear it more than death itself, and Kubrick took that to heart.
I just like the idea that like Stephen King, his wife comes in, he's like shaving, and she's like, "There's a phone call." He's like, "My kids are hurt." Like he immediately jumps to that
It
conclusion.
was like
What's
7
wrong
in the
with my-
morning.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
where were his kids?
The fact was, naturally he was hangover. Was King a bit of a drinker?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I
Of
didn't. I just
course he
didn't
was
know that. I
Of
didn't know
course
the
he was
fact was just.
hungover and shaving.
Of course, he's hungover and shaving. His
That
two
was
favorite
kind of
things
his entire
other than novel
1970s,
writing.
right? Was basically alcoholism and substance abuse.
Oh yeah, when his family had to intervene to put a stop to it, they had to like empty all these trash cans of bloody Kleenexes with cocaine residue and empty whiskey bottles.
God
all
damn.
this other shit.
This guy's my
Yeah, he went
fucking
hard.
hero.
Sounds like a Wednesday night for me.
The pharmacist, yes. I lost Brandon on my feed. That's okay. I still have Seth. Penultimate fact here.
I'm just gonna keep this up until I come back on.
Can't see. There you go. Kubrick and his secretary typed out all of the hundreds of pages of manuscript in the movie themselves, insisting on the authenticity of the typing sounds and errors in human mass typing. So everything you saw was actually typed out by Kubrick and his secretary.
That
Nice.
poor secretary, all working their Playmates jacket. Oh boy.
Yeah,
It was
she
probably
did.
Shelley Duvall.
She probably did 1,000 of those, and Kubrick did one.
That's why she couldn't hold the bat right at the end. Her fingers were so just
She had
crippled
carpal,
from
yeah.
typewriting. So much. She could type 45 words.
She thought
45
she was
words a second
Darth
on a
Maul and
typewriter.
dual wielding.
What was that?
She thought she was Darth Maul and dual wielding the bat to hit with both ends.
Another Star
Another
Wars
parallel,
reference.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Um,
If you didn't tie Shelley Duvall to Darth Maul, I don't know what you were thinking. Because clearly Darth Maul came out in 1999 with the Phantom Menace.
Yeah,
So
There's a clear line there.
you're connecting this movie 19 years later to her with the baseball bat. Yeah.
All right. Our ultimate fact, rather, all these are nominations. It was nominated for Worst Actress and Worst Director at the Razzie Awards. Kind of famously panned when it came out. But Scatman Crothers did win Best Supporting Actor at the Saturn Awards.
Oh hell yeah.
And then I have a couple other things on American Film Institute's list of 100 Years, 100 Thrills. It came in at number 29.
Okay.
Excuse me, Jesus.
Bless you.
On AFI's 100 Years, 100 Heroes and Villains list, Jack Torrance came in at the number 25 villain.
Okay.
And the 100 Years, 100 Movie Quotes from the American Film Institute. Here's Johnny came in at number 68.
Was Red Rum on there at all?
I don't believe so. I think it only had one per movie.
Movie. Alrighty.
Let's get
surprised
into the
about
movie.
Surprised
Oh.
about the Razzie things.
Yeah, I think they also retracted the Worst Actress nomination for Shelley Duvall because they were like, she was basically tortured.
But they didn't retract the
if-
Stanley Kubrick one. They're like, he's dead. We don't need to retract it.
No.
It became such a cultural mainstay, though, that I'm sure by 1985, Stanley Kubrick was like, "Yeah, whatever, I don't care."
Who gives a shit? Yeah, exactly.
And it was already probably the throes of being reevaluated and celebrated as maybe it should be. We'll find out.
Yeah. Let's get into
Let's
the
get into the
movie. Movie.
Ha cha cha cha.
No, that's not how we.
She's rolling the movie reel.
She says ha cha cha
Cha cha
cha.
cha 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 cha. Yeah.
Our
Oh.
dogs are being assholes.
Oh no. Loon.
She's in here for her own protection.
She's so goofy.
Come on.
Go on, Caesar. Loon.
I love you.
I didn't explain this bit to Charlie. Normally, at this point in the podcast, we have a character of Nicole Kidman who's usually terrifying us in some way.
When did that come about? Don't tell me Mel, because there's no way
Well,
that's
we
when it
were already
started.
talking about Nicole Kidman and Mel, so
Yeah.
But it was definitely not before you came on,
I turned Nicole Kidman into a monster.
because we did. I think Seth or Lucas and I before that were saying like Nicole Kidman here from time to time, but we had never turned her into the monster that she is now, that haunts our dreams and movie theaters worldwide.
So canonically thus far, she has tentacles hidden under a trench coat. She stalks around every movie theater, usually on the ceilings. I think will punch you or something if you have your cell phone out, or like eat it in front of you.
Yeah, she breaks it. I remember that.
Did
there
they
was one.
fight in a UFC match once upon a time?
Who
Yeah,
is she
who
fighting?
did she fight in the UFC?
Was she fighting Mel?
No, she wasn't.
I think
she
it was
did
Mark
fight.
Wahlberg, maybe?
She did fight Mel, but
That might have been the Transformers episode. I think she fought Mark Wahlberg.
No, we talked about her in the UFC way earlier than that.
Okay.
I don't remember who she fought.
I don't.
I think it was Mel. She fought Mel, the turtle. Anyways, let's get into the movie.
Yeah. Dang, we wasted this one on reminiscing.
Nicole Kidman, yeah.
Me and Charlie also don't have a ton of notes on the plot, so we're going to rely on you, Brandon. We know you got you.
Because I took too many notes on the plot. All right.
We have some more like bigger discussion points. We'll get to them.
Sure. You start out in Glacier National Park. Like, it immediately opens to the movie. There's, like, not really any production. It's just like, boom, we're in Glacier. Driving scenes, beautiful helicopter shots as a car drives, winding some barren roads to the ominous, tense music just to this beautiful driving scene already kind of sets the tone right away.
Is that another fun fact?
What?
Glacier Park? Isn't that in Montana?
Yeah, it's the Going to the Sun Road. That's what
crazy.
they filmed it on.
Oh.
And,
okay.
My next note, who the fuck is Scatman Crothers? But then, shot of a big hotel all alone on a mountain, and you get like a title screen that just says The Interview.
I think we also like famously don't get the hedge maze right on the outside of the first exterior shot.
You don't.
Yeah.
Is that like a goof, or is that Stanley Kubrick being like, this hotel's wacky and spooky and stuff weird should happen?
Almost like there's a twist around every corner.
Mm. There was no hedge maze in the book, so Kubrick just kind of adapted that.
He did, yeah. It was his own invention, like to have this labyrinth that kind of echoes in the hotel.
Yeah, and nice. Kubrick was a famously very Jungian thinker, and for Jung, the spiral or the labyrinth was a symbol for attaining greater consciousness.
Oh, dang.
Deep. Fucking deep.
So, like, the deeper you go, like, the closer you are to consciousness, then?
Well, and look at the ending with Danny. He gets to the middle of the maze and tricks his father, and he's able to escape.
Yeah. He reaches the total consciousness.
Spoilers.
He reaches nirvana.
Yeah.
Spoilers for
Danny
the movie
reaches
we're talking
enlightenment.
about.
Spoilers.
That we just started talking about.
Well, they don't know he reaches nirvana yet.
He doesn't know they reached nirvana. But yeah, the interview. Jack Torrance, played by Jack Nicholson, interviewing for some position at the hotel. And back at home, his mother, Wendy, and his son, Danny, are talking about living in the hotel all winter long. Danny's not excited, and neither is Tony, his imaginary friend that is his finger, but that lives within him.
Yeah, it's an right in the book. Tony is like his future self. Is that sort of the idea?
No, I think Tony's still like an imaginary friend. But yeah, Tony comes from without. He doesn't live inside of Danny's
children loved the book.
Didn't we retire that bit, Brandon?
No, not at all.
No, we just replaced the children with different words.
With the
now.
bitches.
Yeah.
The bitches
love
last night.
The bitches.
Last week, my my birdemic notes were the children love the birds instead. Yeah.
Birdemic, oddly enough, both times took the same inspiration from The Shining's opening with the winding roads.
Fuck it again. Yeah.
They did it again.
And yeah, so Tony is some imaginary friend and his finger, mouth, soul, whatever. And Jack's preparing. His job is to stay in the hotel all winter from November to May in this hotel and keep it operational and the boilers running and all that. And my question is, because he's a teacher out of Denver, why the fuck did
Vermont,
he get...
I think, right?
Yeah, Vermont.
Oh, well, this is in
Denver,
Colorado.
yeah.
Why the fuck
Yeah,
did
Colorado,
he get headhunted as a Vermont teacher
I
to be a caretaker of this fucking hotel in Colorado?
Charlie, is there an answer, right?
Yeah, from the book, he was working at this prep school in Vermont, and he was starting to develop his alcohol problem. And his drinking buddy, out in Vermont, recommended him for the job after he got shit canned from the prep school that he was working in. So this was a chance for him to clean up, work on his writing, get things right, and then come back to the world.
And it's kind of like his seedy friend also like throwing him a bone too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was just like, I got picked for this job. I was like, how?
Yeah.
You have zero qualifications for this. You live so far away. But okay, that does make a little sense. And so the guy that's interviewing him, Mr. Ullman, he keeps telling him how hard the winters are and the problems with the isolation being alone. And I don't know if it was you guys. Did you notice like a change in camera quality when it's shooting Mr. Ullman, and then when it shoots Jack, like his looks like a lot fuzzier, like an older style camera?
We didn't notice that. We did notice when they would cut back to Ullman every time that the ashtray would be in like a different spot, right? Or the pen would be askew.
Or there'd be like a bunch of cigarette butts in the ashtray that weren't there before.
Yeah. I think it lends to your point, Brandon. I think it's all purposeful. It's even in these like little tiny mistakes. It's like Kubrick's like, this hotel is messing with everything.
You notice any of that?
Here, the next pen's gone. It's just like little
I know.
hotel moving stuff around.
And it's me knowing the end, so I'm like looking for other things now as I've seen it many times. But I was like, maybe Mr. Ullman isn't interviewing Jack himself, and it's like a time difference of like, this is him interviewing somebody new with the new quality camera versus Jack when he first did it and recollecting back on the 1970s shit. I don't know.
Sure could
I was
be.
coming to conclusions.
Yeah, I didn't notice anything but like the weird style of acting that was going on.
Seth's like, I didn't notice anything at all.
Yeah, I actually had my eyes closed.
I'm just a guy.
Yeah, I was asleep, and I just lied until now.
Lied asleep.
Well, so I kind of noticed that, but Stuart Ullman starts to tell Jack about the horrific incident in the winter of 1970 at this hotel because some people back out of the job upon the news. And it was a man, Charlie Grady, had stayed there and ended up killing his wife and 2 daughters with an axe, chopping them to bits because he had gone insane over the winter.
Pretty spooky stuff.
Yeah, I mean, this hotel's got a history, a kind of a negative aura to it, so... Hey!
She's trying to eat your bear.
Booger Bear or Mr. Bear?
I don't know.
Or Blueberry?
Okay, I can't tell them apart.
And, so with that, you cut to a scene of Danny standing at a sink, talking to Tony, with some ominous music behind saying that Jack already got the job and is about to call. Like, Tony/Danny knows that they're going to be accepting the job and moving there regardless if it has happened yet or not. And just then, the phone rings. Jack tells Wendy he got the job.
He's very cold to Wendy, too, right? Did you guys notice that?
Very business-like.
Tony? Or Jack?
Yeah, to his wife, sorry. Jack was cold to his wife.
The whole movie.
Well, yeah, but even though, like, he's so charming in his way to, like, the interviewer, and he calls, like, yeah, I got the job, I won't be home, see ya.
That was it. He hung up. She offered it to make him sandwiches, and he screamed in her face at one point.
That's abuse for you.
Yeah.
Dude's an asshole.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do about it? Dude's an asshole. Danny keeps asking Tony why he doesn't want to go to the hotel, and he says he doesn't know. And immediately, you cut like quarter-second scene, like just like cuts to blood flowing out of an open elevator doors, 2 girls in matching dresses standing together, and Danny's face up close, like mouth agape, just like looking like he's screaming with no audible noise, just kind of a dull hum to everything.
Yeah, I was talking about this with Charlie last night, but
nice.
Thank you. Kubrick
You're
is
welcome.
the master of doing like these little quick like flash shots, on a screen. And when like a normal horror movie would stretch these out for like 5 or 10 seconds, you just get like a little like psychic flash, and you're wondering like, is that real? What's going on? Instead of actually playing up the horror part of it, I think.
Yeah, I think that actually builds the suspense, and it gets people questioning their own sanity.
Yeah, totally.
Did I just see what I just saw?
Kind of like the Fight Club style, too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Fight Club.
Fight Club.
You love Fight Club.
I do love Fight Club.
I've always said that this movie, like the subject matter itself, isn't necessarily, as the film goes, like a horror film in any way. It's the filmmaking that makes it kind of a horror film. There's such a tension that's drawn so thin that at any point it could break and you don't know where it's going to be. And it's just through camera angles, tracking shots, the music. It's just, it's like it shouldn't be scary, but yet it keeps you on edge.
It's like pulling a rubber band, afraid of when it's going to snap you, and then when it finally
Ooh, that's good.
I mean, that's like Nicholson's performance, too.
It's like blowing
yeah.
up a balloon and not knowing when it's gonna pop.
Oh.
Somebody do
Ooh.
another one. Somebody do another one.
So you pull up a bike tire and don't know what's gonna pop.
Do another one, Charlie.
It's like when you pull on a rub. No, we've already done that one. I think we're good with metaphors.
Yeah.
I was ready for one where it's just like, it's like when you're taking off your shirt. And you, like, it doesn't match at all. I was just ready for something
That's
like
the
that.
whole thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like when you take your shirt off, and there's no and.
It's just like when you take your
It's like when I
shirt
take
off
my shirt
and
off.
you're disappointed
public
with your body
place.
underneath.
That's
Oh my
funny.
god. Well, so after all these little cuts, Danny is being examined by a doctor. Apparently he fainted during his little talk with Tony in these flash scenes, and Doc tries to get her to tell him about Danny, but he doesn't want to talk about Tony anymore. Tony says Danny shouldn't talk about him anyway, so
There's also the big implication that Jack may have abused Danny because he's like, what did this have about? He's like, oh, when he dislocated his shoulder, 5 months ago or whatever, when Jack came home and yanked him across the room.
he grabbed him a little too hard, you know?
Little drunky poo.
How much
I
that
love
rate?
being drunky poo.
Yeah.
And Wendy tells the doctor a big story, about dislocating his shoulder, but now he's sober, so it's fine. And then you get another title card, closing day. The whole family is making their way up to the hotel. And the whole drive, it's just scary music, but they're talking about the Donner Party and cannibalism. It's like great family talk on your drive to the hotel you're going to be staying at for 6 months.
And we were talking about this last night. The amount of disdain and contempt that he has for his wife and children,
Mm-hmm.
rather child, in that scene in the car, it's just palpable. You
Yeah,
should have eaten your breakfast.
the only time he smiles or has any sort of interest is when they start talking about
About
cannibalism.
fucking cannibalism.
I didn't notice that. He's grinning ear to ear. Cannibalism, what?
Saw it on
Yeah,
the
but it's-
television.
If his kid's hungry, he couldn't give a shit. But if people are hungry, like out in the woods, now we're talking.
Yeah, people are eating one another.
Yeah.
apparently.
Well, I thought he just smiled after because he mentioned cannibalism and Wendy was like, "You shouldn't talk about that." And Danny's like, "Oh, I saw it on the television. It's okay." And he goes, "Oh, you see, he saw it on the television. Everything's fine now." Like I thought it was more. He was like sarcastically smiling at like our boys being raised by a TV, being mad at Wendy for just
Sure.
another reason, instead of like smiling about the cannibalism.
About the Capulets.
That's definitely
The
part
old
of it.
Romeo
Yeah.
and Juliet kind of thing.
He always has to mentally dominate Wendy every turn.
Yeah, he's obsessed with being smarter than everybody else in the room.
Especially his wife.
Yeah.
And
You
she
dumb bitch.
never like tries to challenge that. She's like, fine, whatever, okay.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
she's
that's
consistently like a supportive spouse.
She's a great spouse.
Yeah, the whole
Yeah.
time. That's why the beginning acting compared to the acting at the end felt stylistic, like it was stage play almost. Like it's like you're watching it behind curtains, instead of like on a movie screen in the beginning. Like it's the classic mean husband, very supportive wife. You're taking a side immediately, and you keep taking that side to the end. But like the acting gets more realistic, I guess, to me towards the end of it. It just feels very plastic in the beginning. Like, oh, we've seen this trope 1,000 times, and you're like, oh, what the hell's going on now? Like, this is not
With
what it
like in
was.
regards to Duvall's performance.
Both of them just in conjunction with each other, I should say.
Mm.
Like Nicholson and Duvall, like both that relationship specifically and the way they go about it in the first 30, 40 minutes or so, it just seems like something you've seen 100 times before. And maybe that's just me living in the year 2022, having seen it 100 times before.
Sure.
But yeah, it just felt much different from what it turns into.
I mean,
No,
it
I
is
think
much
you're right.
different, yeah.
Yeah,
Could
there
you
is
imagine-
kind of the trope, but like an onion, you peel the layers off, and it gets more and more complex and horrifying.
Like an ogre.
Oh my god,
Exactly.
I get it now.
When you peel an ogre,
Thank you
you
guys.
see
I
the shining on
understand
the
now.
inside.
Shrek had the shine.
Like
That's how we beat all those soldiers in the beginning at Lord Farquaad's place.
He had he knew what was coming next.
Yeah.
He had envisioned this battle for eons.
That's why
I don't know how long ogres live.
Eons,
Anybody have a
right?
guess on how long ogres live?
20 million.
20 million, Steve. Well, everyone is at the hotel, touring the hotel, and Danny gets hung up in the game room playing darts. Fucking crash zoom on some screechy ass music. He looks over to see those two young girls he had the premonition about just standing side by side. And that's about it.
I had a question about the crash zoom.
Question?
Yeah. Did that not age well, or is it just the way the crash zoom is used anymore that made me laugh?
It's probably maybe both.
I'm remembering this, the crash zoom.
There's
There's
few
like
in the
4
movie.
crash zooms.
They
in the
do it
movie.
on a dead body later, and I couldn't help but chuckle. Because crash zooms anymore are just like, you're zooming in on somebody's face for like a comedic effect.
Yeah.
So seeing it
Oh,
back
I
then,
see.
I was like, oh, that's
To
hilarious.
California.
Probably
Good
at
one,
that time,
Kubrick.
it probably wouldn't have seemed as so dated.
Not as coded as comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's dated.
Okay.
We've decided. And that's about it for that whole scene of him doing all that shit. But
Spooky.
somebody is showing Mindy and Jack all about the hedge maze and how
Wendy.
people can get Mindy. Why did I say that? Wendy and Jack all about the hedge maze and how people can get lost in there. And also shows them the gold room, the snow cat, basically all the amenities. And the head chef, Scatman Crothers, Dick, takes Danny and Wendy to show them the kitchen while Jack goes with the other guy. And he's showing them all this meat. And I was like, why are you showing that? Wendy just said that she can't cook worth shit. Why are you showing her racks of lamb? You guys are going to lose so much money on goddamn protein in here if she's trying to cook racks of lamb.
I saw it as foreshadowing with, like dead
Wrong.
carcasses in the frozen. I think that's kind of what they were going for.
Yeah.
No, it was definitely what they were going for. But still, don't cook rack of lamb if you don't know how to cook. Simply.
Yeah.
Thank
you,
you,
could
Emerald.
take your best guess.
Yeah. How else
Um,
are you gonna learn?
I mean, I guess start with
What,
something that isn't
culinary
rack of lamb.
school?
Huh?
How are you going to learn?
Pharmacy school.
Brandon knows how to cook lamb.
Yeah, I went through pharmacy school. I can cook a hell of a lamb. And so after all this whole thing, Dick called Danny Doc in this like pantry, which is his nickname. And Wendy's all scared. She's like, I never called him Doc yet, but that we do call him that. And my note is just weird.
A little
What the
weird.
hell?
His justification was funny too. He's like, he just looks like a doc,
What's up, Doc?
I think so. I think he heard it. Yeah. But he also has like this ESP, which we know is the Shine now, with Danny too, where they're talking. He's like, "Do you like ice cream, Danny?" And then he asks about prunes and keep it regular. I don't know if that's a quote.
He did. You gotta keep regular, you know. If you have
So
too much
funny.
ice cream, you gotta have some prunes.
He likes to have a little toilet humor. Remember in 2001 they had the space toilet?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, with the 9 rules or
Yeah,
10
the-
Nine
rules.
rules for
the
surviving
eight-
the
yeah.
space toilet.
Yeah.
Don't get sucked through. Rule number 1.
That sounds like a How to Get a Guy in 10 Days kind of movie.
How to not get sucked through the space toilet.
Yeah.
In
9
10
ways
days.
yeah.
Brilliant.
And so yeah, he does this little telepathic talk. There's a high-pitched screech starts, and they just left Danny with Dick to go get ice cream. And Dick starts telling Danny about he knew his name was Doc and how he could carry on a conversation with his grandma without moving his mouth when he was younger. And this ability they called the Shining.
Mm-hmm. There it is. The movie.
I pointed at the screen when I heard that last night. I was like, fuck. And Danny tells him he isn't supposed to talk about this ability because Tony tells him not to. And Dick is honestly very concerned about Tony. Wants to know if he has shown Danny anything about the Overlook Hotel. He knows. He can sense it.
I thought it was interesting. I talked to them about Charlie that they were basically equals. They're both sitting there with their hands crossed and they're like leveling with each other. Like, all right, what's your deal? This is my deal. Which I think is interesting. I don't know. There's obviously probably some racial implications with Halloran sort of being equal with a child.
Kind of like a
American imagery going
kind of
on,
like a
too.
Yoda versus Darth Sidious, you know,
Yes, totally.
for another Star Wars parallel.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, I think that Halloran would just see this young kid with no idea what he's seeing and want to help the kid out because he's probably sensed that there's something wrong with Jack and there's probably problems in the marriage between Jack and Wendy, and Danny's going to get caught up in it, and they're going to be all by themselves in the middle of the mountains.
That's part of his like premonition of the Shine.
Yeah. I'm sure that it was just Dick having a compassionate heart for a child.
Mm-hmm.
That was more what I saw. Not that the racial inequality isn't there throughout. Well, I mean, probably a lot of movies back then. But I more just saw, like, since they both had the shine, he understood the power so much, and he understood that, like, you know everything before and everything after. So it's not so much like a kid and an adult. It's like two people at different parts in the timeline, but they still know the whole timeline.
Together.
Huh. So you didn't get the Palpatine Yoda.
I didn't get the
parallel.
Palpatine Yoda.
You that went over your head. You missed that one.
On the other hand, we
worry.
haven't all been to pharmacy school.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the first things you learn.
He's got
Star
an
Wars
unfair edge
parallel-
over us. It's not cool.
Star Wars parallels and rack of lamb cooking. And then later on you'll get to the meds.
Surprising how little that comes up, though.
Yeah, it's weird. Every day at work, I've never been asked about how to cook rack of lamb yet.
One
I'm
day. You're
waiting
still
for
new.
the day. It'll be my time to shine. So, yeah, Dick cannot hide anything from Danny, and that there's something bad in the hotel. And he says people who shine can like we said, see the future and in the past when others can't see them. And Danny brings up, he's like, what's wrong with room 237? He knows Dick's scared of the room, but Dick says he isn't scared. But he should stay out of the room just in case.
It was very, like, everything's okay, it's a cool hotel, no worries. And he's like, what about 237? He's like, fuck you, kid, stay out of there.
It's fine, but stay away from it.
They were totally friends until 237 came up.
And then you get title card 1 month later. I think the use of the title cards in here adds to the suspension, because each time you get a title card, you're like, something's fucking wrong. What's wrong?
Something else about those title cards is instead of giving meaning and context, they disorient even more. Because it's 1 month away from what? Nobody knows. And then when you get to Tuesday, Thursday, whatever, you have
when the fuck is
frame
Tuesday?
reference for it.
That's exactly. I was gonna bring that up. That was hilarious.
Kubrick was
'cause
using it to disorient.
The interview 8:30 a.m. 1 month later, and then just Tuesday.
Tuesday?
It was very disorienting.
It went
I'm like, what the
Tuesday, Thursday, and then like 8 a.m. You're like, was that 8 a.m. on Thursday? Like,
hell?
when?
I don't know.
There's this Louis Buñuel movie that I think Kubrick might have been drawing from here. I'm trying to find what it is while Alex does dishes.
God, if he says Star Wars Episode 6, Revenge of the Sith, I'm going to lose my fucking mind over here.
I would be very surprised if he's even thinking about that movie.
I can't find it.
You in tears?
He's thinking about Wookiees right now.
It was something about Andalou, but anyways, it was like a very early surreal movie with Salvador Dali, and in that it had the same sort of thing as like 1 year later was like a time card, but then like nothing, it was like the next day. It was very disoriented. It was like 3 years earlier, and like it was the exact same situation. So I think that's kind of what Kubrick's doing a little bit, to Charlie's point, is exactly Tuesday is what, Thursday is what. It doesn't do any sort of grounding reference like these time cards are meant to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
Especially coupled with the weather later. Because there's one I'm remembering that says 4 p.m. and it looks like pitch black outside almost. Just because I think the clouds covering everything up. Plus everyone's asleep for some reason.
It's the winter. You know how dark it is in the winter?
At 4 p.m. though, that's early.
It sets at 4:30 when you hit that daylight savings ends. You know, you go
4:30?
Yeah, like
That's
4:30.
crazy.
It fucking sucks. Why do you think so many people get depressed?
My point stands.
It does.
You act like you've never been affected by seasonal affective disorder.
Not this guy. I got 2 thumbs.
You do. You do have 2 thumbs. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good thumbs.
Don't move on. Don't say good thumbs. What's next?
So after that 1 month later, I love these scenes of like Wendy, she's delivering food while you get seen the first scenes of Danny riding his tricycle through the hotel, and like the camera work, the tracking shots behind him, and the sound on the tricycle scenes are exquisite because it keeps you in the action without knowing if anything's around the corner with how close the tracking shot is. And
this is an interesting note. This scene you're talking about was like used with the Steadicam, which had only been in like 3 or 4 movies prior to this. And
oh, really?
Steadicam worked closely with Kubrick on this to develop it even further. So when they're going down, it's a guy like in a wheelchair following with the Steadicam, and one of the first uses of the Steadicam.
One of the first uses of a wheelchair too.
Ever.
Set free,
We put
Dan?
people in these. They thought after. Instead of a camera.
They always manage with that steady
Wheelchair was
cam.
invented for camera. That's funny.
They always manage with that camera to keep the person in the very center of the screen too. So yeah, you can't see the periphery. So each corner is something new, and you know that eventually that corner is going to come. You just don't know when.
It's tense throughout, yeah.
And the sound is great because it was like him going over
I said that
carpet and then
Yeah.
hardwood.
Even I noticed that, and I don't watch movies.
The sound.
Yeah,
Oh, that's perfect.
Exactly.
like my cat.
Because there was no like background noise or anything. It was just that. Is Luna asleep over there?
Yeah, she's just chilling.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so all that great stuff, I loved it. Wendy and Jack are talking about how beautiful the place is, and Jack says that he feels that he's been here before when he came for the interview. He was like, this place felt familiar and like home. And I was like, oh shit.
It's a hard deja vu, I think he said.
Yeah. And then you just get a scene of Jack. Instead of writing, he's just throwing a tennis ball off a wall.
This is very funny to me because it's all like high art and very like particular Native American decorations on the wall, and he's just pelting it with the tennis ball.
Yeah, that brings in the Native American genocide theme, you know.
Mm-hmm.
He's deliberately throwing the ball against these Native American sand paintings.
I think we can talk about it now. What do you guys think about the Native American aspect of this movie? Did you guys clue in on that?
A little bit, yeah.
Not a ton, but a little bit.
Especially like very on the nose when he's given the tour outside. I don't know if I'm stealing a quote right now or not.
No, go ahead.
But he's like, they built it in 1907. They had to build it on an Indian burial ground. I think they even had to stave off a few Indian invasions during the building. Like that was pretty on the nose. And then yeah, all the decorations, him throwing a ball at I don't know how significant it is, and he doesn't either, but he doesn't care, which is kind of the point as well. So yeah, a little bit clued into it. You just get distracted by all the ghosts and haunting and shit.
The vampires.
And there's the part or the aspect of how all of this Native American like culture is basically just manipulated for art, you know, which is very vapid art in this Colorado hotel, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just there for the consumption of these rich people, the only people who can afford to stay in this hotel to begin with.
Yeah. And then Jack Nicholson is just pelting it all with the tennis ball.
Pelting? Nice.
There's a whole
good word
reading of this movie that is Native American sensitive. That's one of the aspects of like Room 237, I think, right? The little documentary that came out about this movie, about all the fan theories and everything.
I might have to check that out. That sounds awesome.
Ignore all the stuff about the moon landing. That's all bullshit.
That's funny. I remembered, this is totally off tangent, but when you were growing up, like every Friday, me or my sister, my mom, my stepdad got to pick a movie watching our house. And when I was like 11 and thought I was super smart, I played this movie called Zeitgeist, which ended up being like a 9/11 truther movie.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, my parents had to sit. I mostly liked it because it was this big atheist thing, and I was like, oh, I'm such a smart atheist. And then there was this whole section about 9/11 being faked by George Bush, and I was like, ignore this part, I guess.
I remember there was once Seth and I made my family watch Jesus Camp, the documentary.
We did.
Which is a harsh telling about the dangers and like cult activity of evangelical Christians at like a summer camp. And it hurts to watch, but we were like 17. We're like, look how woke this fucking is.
I remember that was also the first night that I think I ever like swore in front of your parents because we were playing this board game where you write down answers to things.
No, that was a different night.
That was a different night. I thought that was the same thing. I thought we were playing board games and then put a movie on because your dad went to bed or something.
No. Because that was the game of Nasty Things.
Yeah.
And that was New Year's Eve you came over because you had nothing to do.
I said nasty things.
The question was like, what's the
worst part about being a celebrity? And for the first thing that popped in my head was, washing the cum out of your hair. So I wrote that down
for my mom to read on the card. And she was like, who the fuck wrote washing the cum out of your hair?
Things changed after that day.
For the better.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, well. After the tennis ball, Wendy's chasing Jack through the hedge maze, and the music starts to pick up. These tracking shots keep getting me as they're like running through the hedge maze. You're following because like once again in the hotel room on the trike or them in the hedge maze, you don't know what's around the corner. You don't know the layout of these things.
This one, I had a note / thought about the camera work on that because it's like front facing and it's back, like walking back while they're walking towards the camera. It seemed like the camera was outrunning them. I don't know if that was to build suspense or to like kind of foreshadow that there's a chase scene like in this specific area because there is chasing in the There's another spot in the hotel. They do that same kind of camera outrunning the characters. I just don't see that anywhere. I thought it was cool, and I figured you guys would know more about it, being like actual film buffs and.
He's not a guy.
I'm not just like a guy.
I mean, you're a film buff now at this point, Seth.
This is like episode 20 for you.
Yeah, but like relative to you guys, I've seen like maybe 40 movies.
I mean, you also have very sincere criticism for how few movies you've watched. You know what I mean?
Well, it also sounds like you're observing a lot, and that's more important. Like anybody can use highfalutin words to inflate their ego.
Yeah,
but
I do that
too.
too.
Really paying attention. They observe it and they say it.
I appreciate that. I mean, I still am just a guy, but I'm not a dumb guy.
When you said I appreciate that, I was hoping you were just gonna be like,
no, I really do appreciate it because that was like
man.
An honest, like, I don't know. I do appreciate not soups
preach, man.
It.
Take that to the heart.
Bitch.
Well, after all this chasing in the hedge maze, all these tracking shots, Jack is looking at a diorama of the hedge maze, like a big model of it. And as he looks down into the hedge maze, you get like a slowly zooming in aerial shot of the maze with Danny and Wendy in the middle of it, like it goes into their perspective.
Just first off, like absurdly cool to see.
So cool.
So cool.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know how they did it still. It's got to be like a camera being lowered from some sort of massive crane or something, or a helicopter. I don't know. It's perfectly smooth the whole way.
Drones in 1980. But after that, Tuesday. Title card, Tuesday. What the fuck is Tuesday?
My favorite title card.
Ruby Tuesdays. They're at Ruby Tuesdays.
I want a sign in like a basement that just says Tuesday. One of those neon ones.
In this font.
Yeah.
In the font, yeah.
But you guys think about the font of this movie. It was like the most bare bones font. Pure black and white.
Yep.
That was it the same font in the opening credits?
Except it was blue in the opening credits.
That was the thing that threw me off. It was like a teal. Like it was so jarring against the Colorado natural skyline and background and environment. And then it's just like, here's the most unnatural color you'll ever see. Like a turquoise. Like you don't see it in nature. You can't make anything out of it.
Fuck you, chartreuse. Here we go.
Yeah, it was very strange.
Well, Lukas is gone.
Dead.
Charlie's moving up. Well, Tuesday, Wendy's making food while a newscast talks about an incoming snowstorm and a 24-year-old woman missing for 10 days after a hunting trip with her husband. Oh?
Just like the plot of Home Improvement.
Tim Allen murdered his wife in that show.
Jack Nicholson style.
Well, there's
they
that
kind
going
of had,
on.
I mean, it's silly, but they kind of had a similar sort of demeanor. We talked about that a little bit, how Nicholson essentially goes more crazy, has like a Leave It to Beaver dad sort of honey, I'm home sort of caricature, which is kind of what Tim Allen does in Home Improvement.
Honey, I'm home. Yeah.
The sort of like goofy, affable workman.
Here's Johnny feels like a honey, I'm home in a kind of sinister way.
Totally.
Isn't that a Johnny Carson thing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I think Jack is trying to present himself as this like everyman, but a lot smarter than everybody else. But on the other hand, that facade slips a lot.
Wait, do you think he's smart? Do you think he thinks he's smarter than everybody else? I don't think anybody that watched this movie picked up on that.
I'm a writer. I'm going to this hotel in Colorado to write.
I'm going to reach my Zen place and write the next.
Yeah, and I'm going to take my wife and my kid with me.
Yeah. Step off your fucking high horse.
If I'm in this room and
you're an English teacher, Lukas.
Me?
No, I was saying like Jack is, but you know what it's like to be called an English teacher.
I did slash that kid's tires.
Yeah. Mediocre people are always trying to make themselves bigger than what they actually are.
Whoa, hold on there.
Seth puffs out his chest a little bit. Hey.
I didn't see Sam coughing out his chest.
I was trying to straighten out my shoulders.
Sit those back a little bit.
Huh? No, this is just me sitting up straight for the first time.
You're so buff.
Wow.
No, this is bones. These are DB Cooper's bones under my shirt.
I got DB Cooper's bones in this bag. Anyway, after that newscast, you get a quick cut to more tricycle action in the hotel. This time with a bit of score behind it, and the camera, like I said, always has Danny in the center of the focus with kind of an upward angle for lots of depth, and he stops on his trike when he reaches room 237, and he just stares at the room as the music intensifies, slowly walks towards the door, turns the handle, but the door doesn't open. When the twin girls pop on the screen for a quarter second, it was just
it's amazing.
It was the fastest. It was the fastest one. It was like you said, Charlie. I was like, did I actually see that? I rewound and was like, yeah, I did see it. They were there.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that Kubrick did was he researched subliminal messaging in advertising and applied a lot of those techniques to The Shining to give it that under the skin creepy feeling.
Yeah.
He saw one too many Hardee's thick burger commercials. I need to use that quick shot of the girl in the bikini.
I gotta find out why I'm addicted to Hardee's burgers.
And now back to Fight Club, putting single frames of porno into kids' movies.
Yeah, exactly.
Splicing it in there.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Well,
good job. I want to do that.
Jack, after that little cut, Jack's in the main hall writing diligently on his typewriter. Wendy enters, the music rises until he pulls his paper off and he greets her. Just totally normal. It was like he was just focused on the thing, but he's very upset that Wendy came to even talk, even though she's offering him sandwiches and shit. Probably because it was a cheese sandwich.
Is that what she said?
Yeah, probably.
No, she was
Referencing.
she's like, I'm making you sandwiches, but he was like, I'm fucking tired of sandwiches, you bitch.
Yeah,
feeding him cheese sandwiches.
That was not scripted. He just flipped shit at Shelley Duvall.
Are we rolling, cameraman? Jack Nicholson's actually lost it.
Well, we had a thing where he's like,
If
if
you
you hear him typing, I'm fucking working. If you're not typing, then I'm fucking working. So don't fucking come in here. And apparently that was born out of Jack Nicholson's real life because he was a screenwriter before this movie, trying to write for his own roles, and his girlfriend would come in and he'd freak out. And then he's like, I could put this in the movie, and maybe I should work on myself too.
Okay. I was wondering if he didn't have that second thought. He was just really abusive emotionally towards every significant other he's had. And he's like, oh man, okay. So you don't know. He's like, I can make a movie out of this, but you don't know for sure if he ever worked on himself. He still sits courtside at Lakers games. Maybe he didn't.
A normal, loving husband.
Just a guy.
He's just a guy.
He's kind of like you.
But he's a Lakers fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
So is he just a guy?
Which is
He
cringe.
doesn't sound like a supportive spouse to me.
Any Lakers fan is cringe AF. Fail army up in here.
Lake show.
Well, he
With
makes
Johnny
this
Carson.
he makes this rule. He's like, I'm gonna have to start writing all over. He's like, get the fuck out of here. He makes a rule to never come in if he's in there, whether he's writing or not. Even if he's just throwing a tennis ball off the fucking artwork, do not come in here if I'm in.
What a bastard.
Yeah.
Thursday
Thursday.
was my fucking favorite day because it's Danny and Wendy playing in the middle of a blizzard. You cut to Jack standing, staring out the window with this glazed look and this sinister smile.
Stare.
Yeah, exactly. He's just looking out the window. Saturday. That was it. That was Thursday. The entirety of the day.
Well, and 2 other days.
Yeah.
This is until Saturday.
What the fuck happened all Thursday and all Friday? He just stared out the window. Great.
That's the thing. He didn't need a title card for that at all.
Yeah. After yelling at his wife, clearly the cheese has fallen off of his cracker.
The cheese has fallen off of his sandwich. He's only eating.
Not playing with a full bag of Jacks.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well,
Jack facts.
What are you gonna say?
I couldn't remember the name of the old one where you bounce the ball and you pick up the jacks. Is it just called Jacks?
It's just called Jack.
Damn
Yeah.
Is that what you guys were saying?
Buy me some
Not playing with
peanuts.
a full bag of Jacks.
Oh,
Buy me some peanuts and
when you said
cracker
full
jacks.
bag of jacks, I was thinking
That's some old East Coast talk,
That makes more sense. I thought you meant cards, but you don't put cards in bags.
Did you say
so I'm
East
just-
Coast talk?
Yeah, it's East Coast talk.
I didn't hear you say it's a fucking wicked storm coming. So it's clearly not.
Yo,
East
did I
Coast
say I
talk.
was from Boston? Do you hear me dropping my ass here?
Park the car at the Harvard Yard.
Yeah.
The
Wicked
flowers in
perfect.
the floor. The mossy masturbators.
We have to stop the Jay-Z bit.
We have to stop the Jay-Z bit. I was
We're gonna
just
get
telling you.
prosecuted.
It's funny because
We're going to jail.
it's funny because
Guess who's going to jail tonight?
it's funny because
Jay-Z
I
is in that
forgot.
song, it's
I was
fine.
literally going to send you guys a Snapchat video this morning, but I forgot. That was just going to be me going, the flowers in the floor. And
Yeah.
I knew you two would lose your mind and Devin wouldn't answer. But in his mind, he would have been like, what the fuck did he just say?
Lose our mind for different reasons. What about Jack? He's losing his mind.
He is. So it's Saturday. Jack's still typing away as Wendy uses the phone board to try and see if the phone lines are down, which they are. But she is able to contact Forest Service with a ham radio, and they tell her that the phone lines are all down, may not be fixed until spring, as this is one of the worst storms to date. But why did he recommend she leave her radio on all the time just in case? This
Because
man got
that's
the
the
fucking
only
shine too.
communication that she's got with the outside world.
And you can tell how desperate Wendy is to have communication with another human being besides her abusive and psychotic husband and her slightly disturbed son.
Mm-hmm. There was like almost a flirty nature over like
Yep.
the phone between the two. And that just the warmth that her husband will not get anymore because every moment he like bats her away.
She unbuttons like
abuses
one
their
button of her
son.
blouse
Yeah.
over the radio.
Well, also, it's
About
just
out.
you don't know when there's going to be an emergency. You should always have your radio on. Like it's like asking, why do you always have your landline plugged in? Like,
Yeah.
do you always need to receive a phone call? Yes,
Yeah.
there are emergencies.
I was just like, my mind immediately was like, does he have the shine? Does he have the shine?
No, he would have been there, or not. Who knows?
Yeah. Maybe he doesn't give a fuck.
That's true. Scat. Yeah.
He has a new book. You have the shine, but you just don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You don't
just
have to use it for
annoyances.
good or evil.
You're like,
You're just
cool,
a guy with it.
Yeah, you're just a guy.
Nice.
These people are about to die. I'll stay away from that.
The future's about to be real weird.
Oh, shit, Jinjo.
What an appearance.
Try to scratch the hell out of me. It is my fault. Anyways.
Well, yeah, anyway, he recommends she keeps that on all the time. Danny's triking again. The music's just going. Tracking shot following him. And then he rounds a corner. Twin girls stand in the middle of the hallway. This is the moment where you didn't. Oh, Jinjo Tail walked across Charlie's screen too. Twin girls stand in the hallway, telling him to come and play with them.
This is probably like the most parodied aspect
Uh-huh.
of The Shining. I think the twin girls have been in like a dozen horror movies since
Come
then.
play with us. Yeah.
Yeah. Or like girls like singing, like yeah.
Wow, 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 wow.
Exactly.
But like as they say, like come play with us forever and ever and ever, or whatever. In between those evers, there continues to be quick cuts of their like chopped up, dead, bloody bodies in the hallway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I told that to Charlie last night too. This is where like a normal horror movie would show these like cool, gory shots in their full details, so the audience is truly shocked. But we're still getting the flashes because the psychotic horror is more important than the gory horror.
Yeah, it's the difference between terror and horror. You know,
Mhm.
Oh,
terror is anticipation, horror is what you see.
Mm.
So I like terror movies.
Yeah, that.
I like terror over horror too.
Terror,
Yeah,
I
that's
hardly know her.
I was always looking for a word to separate the two. Because a lot of scary movies are just really boring.
Yep.
You did mention you like psychological thrillers, you said,
Yeah.
which
But-
Shining definitely kind of fits into that category.
Like saying like,
Yeah.
I like terror movies makes me sound like less of a pompous ass. So I'm gonna do that instead.
So instead of just like a guy.
Hey,
Instead of I watch horror
Don't
cinema.
spit-
yeah, all in favor of
spit
not
your-
sounding like a pompous ass.
Say I.
Hi.
I.
Hey.
Hey,
Aye.
you fucking pompous ass. Well, yeah, that you get them and stand in the hallway. He covers his eyes. When he opens them, they're gone. And he tells Tony, he's like, I'm scared. Tony reminds me, he's like, listen to what Dick said. It isn't real. It's like a book. Monday. We're on the
Good
next
weekend.
day.
Just another manic Monday.
Good weekends. Good weekends.
Yep.
What the hell? Is he being xenomorph? What's happening?
He's
No,
morbid.
he's just going to the bathroom.
I'm
Monday.
gonna have to edit so much of that out. Monday, Danny and Wendy are watching TV. He wants his fire truck from their room. She says no because Jack's asleep. He shouldn't be woken, but Danny pleads and gets the okay as long as he's silent. And he gets into the room. Jack is just awake, sitting erect back, fully erect on the edge of the bed, looking out the window with a glazed look over his face. And I put there was a great camera's perspective when Danny comes in because you go the over-the-shoulder shot of Jack here, but you can't see his facial expressions except in a mirror in the corner. You can see how he reacts to Danny's things with a sinister smile on his face.
You know what's really cool about that shot? It's gonna get mirrored when you get to room 237. The way that the Torrance's bedroom is laid out and room 237 is laid out, it's almost exactly the same.
Where the bathroom is on the far right side instead of the far left, you're tracking through it like it's familiar, yet everything is different.
Interesting. I like that same camera shot for kind of a different reason. Because at first, like, when it first cuts to the over-shoulder shot like that, oh my gosh, she was laying down. I thought for a split second there was a third person in the room. Like, it was the two of them looking at each other, and then that
cool.
reflection, yeah, it looks like another, which, I don't know, could be alluding, depending on how you interpret the movie.
Well, after that, Jack calls Danny over. Hugging Danny like crazy. Danny's asking him if he's feeling bad and if he likes the hotel, and if he's like he can sense something. Danny even asked him if he would ever hurt him and his mother. And Jack is appalled by that statement. He says he would never hurt them.
Yeah. You can also see just how palpably uncomfortable Danny is with his father.
Yep.
I think this is the most like horrifying scene of the whole movie because he's limp as a fish. You know, he's clearly repulsed by his dad touching him, and I think this highlights what exactly was going on before they got to the hotel.
Well, and like any normal child probably wouldn't have that, but him having the shine, knowing the future, seeing his past all at once.
I don't even think this is shine related. I think
he got his arm ripped out by his dad.
Yeah, I'm with you there. It's almost like he's unnecessarily formal the whole conversation too. It's all yes, dad, no, dad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas with his mom, he's got a lot more liberties to kind of like be a kid and say what he wants to.
Yeah, he's scared shitless of his abusive father.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know. There's some implications in this here that the abuse even goes past like the physical, just the shoulder thing with how he's like
it's
grabbing
completely
him close. It's
emotional and traumatizing. Yeah.
like sexual. It's gross.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Hugging him, like petting his head almost.
Yep.
Totally.
Well, it's Wednesday now. Jack's playing with toy cars by the elevators. I really liked this like hexagonal carpet that he's tracking the cars on, like playing them on. I don't know. It's set kind of a format for the screen itself.
Is this
What
the
a ball-
iconic carpet?
Yep.
Like the orange-ish one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Black? The most
And a-
iconic carpet.
And a
The
ball,
diamond carpet.
a ball rolls up to him, but from the direction it came, there's nobody down that hallway from where it came. And he walks down the hall to see. He's like calling for his mom, and he sees room 237's door open and a key in the door. And you fade to Wendy in a boiler room, checking temp levels, and she flips a voltage switch.
Because she's the only one that...
Yeah, she's doing his job.
Yeah, she's keeping that place up.
Artifacts.
And as she flips one of the boiler switches to get the voltage going, scream in the distance. I really liked that.
And you wonder who it is, too, because it's not Danny, right?
Can't be Danny.
Yeah.
It's a man.
It can't be Danny when he just walked into room 237 that's clearly haunted, but she flips the switch, runs out. It's Jack. Why are you laughing?
I don't know. You're saying it's clearly haunted. Why is he going in there? Couldn't be him. Like you're mad that he made the decision to go in there.
No, of course
You're
I'm
like
mad.
being passive aggressive towards a child in a movie. It's just funny to me.
Stupid ass.
Couldn't be his dumb ass, could it? We all hate that guy, right, guys? We all hate Danny.
Yeah, he's just a guy, but I hate him.
That's why I was laughing, because that whole entire thought that I explained ran through my head.
Within
like a
1 second, that whole
Yeah,
conversation.
yeah. So, well, not the, yeah.
Well, she hears the scream. She runs out. it kind of sounded like it was like not an actual scream in a way. It was just there, but she runs out to see that it is Jack screaming, having like a nightmare, sitting at his typewriter.
This is a very like important part of the movie. I have a quick, sad, kind of funny, sad story, side story, not sad story. Sorry.
But also kind of funny.
It's kind of funny. When I took my SATs, the first time I took them was like 8 in the morning, and there was a kid in my class who fell asleep during the test. So obviously he's not going to do all that good. He wasn't the smartest student or whatever. And then he woke up with a minute left in that round of testing, screaming because he had a nightmare while taking the SATs. So we're sitting there, and he just goes, ah! With like a minute left, and then he had no answers written down. It was a goofy.
You got to give everybody a retake after that, right? Like, there's no way that doesn't influence the rest of your testing day. Like, that's the first hour. You got 4 left to go. And you're like, man, that screaming kid really messed me up. You get like a 900.
Obviously, you feel bad for the kid who fell asleep and had a nightmare in the test.
Yeah, do you think the screaming kid gets a retake?
I don't feel. Yeah, of course he does.
If he doesn't get a retake, nobody does.
Everybody should get a retake, but I'm still gonna laugh at the kid that fell asleep and had a nightmare in front of 40 people. Like, that's crazy to do.
It was one of the most surreal things I've ever experienced. And I still had to finish the answers. Yeah.
It was like 1 in a million people that could say, "Yeah, I fell asleep in the SAT and screamed because I had a nightmare."
Shout out Billy. I think he's doing pretty good now.
Shout out,
good for him.
Shout out Billy. Shout out Rat Boy.
That was Rat Boy.
Did you take the SATs when we were at Riverside in middle school?
No.
Oh, I thought you did with me.
I might have. Maybe I just forgot.
My girlfriend literally dumped me the night before the SATs.
Ouch.
Yeah. And then I was a nightmare kid.
Same thing for me with the ACTs. So I like bombed those. I think I got like a 28.
Yeah.
You bombed and you got a 28.
Okay. I was like, I'm gonna fucking bury her into the ground with my test score.
I'll show her.
Yeah.
She was sitting right. She was sitting right in
She'll
front
kick
of me.
me back the instant she sees my test score.
Oh,
yeah.
so much smarter than I am. I should have never dumped
He's now that man's going places. He got a 32. The fuck? That's a
now she's in like a Duke medical school graduate, and here I am.
She's overachieving to win you back.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
If you had the shine, you could see what would happen with her in the future. We'll never know.
I mean, she was also a horror movie villain herself, too.
I thought he was going to say a whore.
Yeah, like that doesn't.
No, she was not.
Because of the reverb, it was like, oh, yeah, she's such a horror. I thought you said whore.
A
horror movie
villain in real life.
Hence the medical school education.
Totally, yeah.
Was he the serial killer doctor then?
Who?
Kevorkian, what did he do?
He came up with the suicide machine.
Oh,
he made the Suicide Squad movie.
Close.
Terrible man.
He's a whore, yeah.
He was a whore. Well, so she wakes up Jack, who's maniacally screaming in his dream, had a nightmare. She wakes him up. He was dreaming that he killed his family with an axe, just like the 1970 murder in the hotel. And Danny slowly approaches the scene from a different room, shot from his back as he walked towards them. Wendy's saying, like, get the fuck out of here. She didn't actually say, get the fuck out of here, Danny. No, she didn't say that, but like, get out, go to your room and whatnot. And
why don't you mind me?
As it slowly turns to him, you see him like sucking his thumb, like real deep, real hard, but also giant, like grasping marks on his neck.
Yep, his collar's all ripped.
He's been roughhoused. I think
classic roughhousing, choke out.
I have an interesting read of this scene and like his coming to out of his nightmare that we talked a little bit about yesterday.
Oh yeah. I think Jack was lying about what he was dreaming. I think that he was saying that kind of to scare Wendy into basically reminding her, hey, I could kill you and Danny, and nobody would know about it until the spring. I think that he was dreaming about either physically or sexually abusing his son. But he couldn't say that to Wendy, obviously. So he kind of throws the red herring her way and also puts her in her place.
That's really good.
I agree with it too, because I also don't think he would just come up and admit, like, hey, I was going to chop you up. I think the only reason he would do that if he's, like Charlie said, he's like trying to intimidate her, or he's like even covering for something worse. You know, he's like, I don't think he's the kind of guy that will say the lesser of two evils what he's thinking.
And abusers know how to manipulate people.
Yeah, that's very true. I had a nightmare the other night that I was in divorce court with Marina. She was suing me. Terrible. I woke up so scared.
Was it televised? It sounds like a show.
No, it wasn't like Judge Judy. It was just like a divorce court.
Divorce court sounds like a show.
Well, obviously, but it wasn't.
That would be really entertaining.
That would be a good dream.
Yeah, we should write
That'd be so sad, though.
Write a sketch about that.
Divorce court.
Well, it doesn't have to be about YouTube, but like
Divorce court directed by Stanley Kubrick. Yeah, I get you. I get you.
And then I woke up and I didn't have any of my answers filled out.
Having a nightmare about falling asleep during the SATs. I was thinking about, like, when you were saying like his actual nightmare. I was gonna punk Seth over here and have it be like spiders growing on somebody's back or something.
Oh, triggering his tryptophobia, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
moving on.
After all that, Wendy looks over at Jack as he stares back, perplexed at her, still unable to talk. She's like, "You did this to him." And all he says as he's like looking is just like, "Oh." Like, good face.
He's doing the Tim Robinson confused face.
He's doing the Kubrick stare.
Not.
He's doing the Tim Allen Home Improvement stare.
He's
He's getting a lot of play this episode.
Oh, shit. I haven't talked about Tim Allen this much ever.
I know.
Welcome to the podcast, man.
Tim Allen and Star Wars have been the real heroes of this episode.
I did what to my son?
That's funny.
Dislocated his shoulder. Oh.
You guys talk to Wilson about it, yeah. Wilson, was that his neighbor's name?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. You never saw his chin until maybe the finale or something. I don't know.
Wilson's?
Yeah.
I don't remember that. I didn't watch enough I didn't watch Home Improvement enough to like know.
He was the cook.
You
I haven't watched that lately.
You never fell asleep at Nick at Night from
midnight to 2 a.m. for most of your childhood, like I did.
Yeah,
I usually
same.
fell asleep to like Adult Swim instead. Or if
That
I
was
fell
allowed.
asleep watching Nick at Night, it would be waking up to George Lopez, obviously.
I
A
love
lot of
George
Lopez.
There's
He has a new
no
show coming out.
What?
Lopez. He's doing a show with Mario Lopez.
And Jennifer Lopez. Nope, that's Affleck now. Never mind. She can't be a part of it. Well, Jack's groaning, stumbling through the hotel all the way to the gold room after being accused of choking out his son. And this screeching music, I put this screeching. Why did I put this in my notes? The screeching music has got to stop. I'm gonna shit myself. That's my literal note there at the very top.
Oh yeah,
The channel guy.
it's his literal note.
But he makes his way into the gold room, seated at the bar looking for a drink, but all the alcohol's gone because, you know, like Mr. Ullman said, like they take it all away so you don't drink yourself crazy. And he rubs his eyes when he opens them back up. Lloyd, the bartender, standing there with a bunch of alcohol behind him. He even knows Jack by name. Oh,
And he has that big, like, hail fellow, well met smile on his face. And right before he says, like, I'd sell my soul for a glass of beer.
yeah.
And then all the beer appears. Not the liquor. Yeah.
He's sober, but it all appears. And
So, I mean, that's like, I didn't consider it until this morning, but that, like, he sell his soul right there? I mean, that's one of the implications, right? Is he sold his soul for liquor, and now he's in control of, his soul's in control of the house, the hotel.
his soul is not controlled by the Senate, but by the House.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
And there is definitely something devilish and demonic, that red jacket that Lloyd has, and that kind of, like, very calm but kind of sinister look that he's got on his face. There's definitely some devil vibes there.
Jumping forward a little bit, but
Faustian,
the bathroom as well, all that is like devil vibes. Yeah. So
The Target bathroom.
the Target bathroom. Seth's like, what bathroom? What?
I was just thinking about. I haven't been to Target in like 10 years.
I haven't been to the bathroom in a long time.
Yeah, even longer actually.
Well, Jack's just drinking away some bourbon, talking to Lloyd, saying things could be better. He's telling Lloyd all about how he would never hurt Danny ever, but it is a different story for Wendy. I was like, the fuck? Doesn't care. And then he does admit to Lloyd.
Yeah.
He does admit to Lloyd that he did hurt Danny once, but it was all an accident. He didn't mean to.
He can't even convince himself with any sort
that
of
it was an
certainty
accident.
that-
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. He puts on such a. This is like his most active. He's like, of course I wouldn't hurt him. Like that's when he has to go the hardest to convince himself.
It's
And you
all,
notice
it's
that
all
he
a facade.
Oh, sorry.
That's it.
You notice
That's
that he
all.
refers to Wendy as the sperm bank. So
He does.
That's
If
funny.
you want to know how high his
Craziest
wife is
things.
ranking up there, just look at that.
That's
Well,
a crazy thing.
After all this, Wendy screams, comes looking for Jack, carrying a bat. She says they're not alone in the hotel, and a crazy woman is in one of the rooms and tried to strangle Danny. Danny told her all this. So you cut to Dick sitting in a room in Miami, watching a weather report, surrounded by portraits of topless women. When his eyes widen, a screeching sound appears, a heartbeat kind of tone appears, and he starts to like shake, almost like a seizure kind of shake.
It looks like his eyes gray a little bit as well.
They gray?
Well, I don't know
Yeah.
if gray or just lose their color, or if that's the same thing. But they do seem to change.
It's
This is a big
interesting.
crash zoom too, right?
It is another crash zoom.
I don't know if this was a crash zoom or just an edit
Just a
to the
zoom.
close up.
And
Hmm.
well, you see him start to shake when it cuts to a scene of room 237, and then to Danny shaking, nearly foaming out of the mouth as well. They're sharing this kind of
It's a shine.
moment. Yeah.
One shining moment.
The end of March Madness.
They're a Cinderella story. They're gonna win it all.
Danny and Dick taking UMBC all the way.
Nice.
Well, you cut to a scene of room 237. Oh, wait. Now they're panning through room 237, which is kind of what you talked about, Charlie, where it's all mirrored from their room itself. And you're moving through it. It's very green in the room.
Yeah, green and purple, which is a weird color combination.
Green and purple. Are those...
Very like vomitous.
Those are not contrasting colors.
I don't know.
No.
Green and purple. Weird.
Very weird.
Purple is royalty, usually. Or like
There's a hot chick
riches.
in there.
There's a real hot chick in there.
She's like 6'3".
Yeah, got the longest legs I've ever seen.
It's funny because that's literally my note. Is that you were panning through. It's Jack's hand. He pushes open the bathroom, enters to see a naked lady behind the curtain. She gets out of the tub and approaches. And one of my notes is, she fucking tall as shit.
Well,
She's tall as shit.
She was so tall.
She just looked normal sized to me.
That's because you're 6'4".
Yeah.
Yeah. A normal sized woman emerges from the tub with Seth's note.
My notes, she's fucking tall as shit. So it's like, typical woman.
Yeah, I have
Typical
4
woman.
quotes and then just a normal sized woman emerges from the tub. That's good.
And then,
That's good.
I
And then
can't wait
Jack-
for when we watch Even Dwarfs Started Small.
oh my god.
Seth's notes are going to be, this person's super short.
Super
Had
small.
no clue.
And Brandon will say a normal amount of people
Yeah.
a normal size.
A normal sized person just walked into. That's a terrible joke. That's so terrible. I'm short, guys. What about it? What about it?
Anyway.
She gets out of the tub as Jack approaches her. She rubs his body all the way up to his neck. Then they make out, and as the camera cuts away, they continue to kiss. But as he opens his eyes, it's now an old woman with like infected sores all over her body, who had
Mhm.
drowned in the tub. She like cackle laughs at him and slowly walks after him while
She's a hag.
she is. And all this happens while we still see Danny like choking, foaming at the mouth, which means we can infer that Dick is doing the same thing.
They're sharing the shine. They're shirining.
Shirining.
They are shirining.
And at the end of the scene, you see Jack
Shibuya.
running out, locking the door behind him. So he's suppressing whatever memories are coming up. It's my pet theory that that's a dream sequence. and he is reliving the physical or sexual abuse of his own son through his son's eyes. So once he sees it, he's suppressing it.
And then he does like run out, and he's like, "Yeah, nothing's in there.
Yep.
Nobody's here."
Yeah, goes and lies to his wife about it.
Wendy confronts him like, "What did you see?" Nothing. He says he's seen nothing. And Jack is telling Wendy that he thinks Danny did this to himself, like the instant before he came up here. He's like, there's something wrong with Danny. He's self-afflicting harm to himself and whatnot. But Danny is lying in bed. They think he's asleep, mouth agape as he looks at writing on his door saying "red rum," and a flash of those elevators again opening up with so much blood gushing out. And Wendy's like, "You know what? We gotta leave. We need to get Danny help."
The red rum thing, that was my first ever interaction with anything in The Shining. Because someone wrote that in our bathroom when I was like a third grader at Montessori. So even I thought it was like weird and creepy even then, and it was obviously a Shining reference. So
even Montessori is afflicted.
Even third graders were getting like Shining thrown at them at school.
I thought it was just a South Side thing.
I was thinking the same thing when I watched it the first time, because I was familiar with the red rum thing since probably second or third grade. I didn't realize it was from. I figured it was from something, but not like maybe one of the greatest movies. Movies.
Oh, we're getting insight into your score.
Well, I mean, just as a classic, I guess. Greatest director probably makes some of the greatest movies, right?
One would think.
Yeah.
We'll never know.
Is that a bold claim?
Until later. We'll see. But yeah, he thinks Danny did this all to himself, like the instant before. The red rum. Wendy wants to leave. And Jack, livid about the idea of them leaving. He's like, I got this big break to make it in the writing world. We're not fucking leaving. He storms out of the room, stomps through the hotel, basically. And here's distant music. There are balloons and party things set up everywhere, too. And then you see Dick. He's calling Forest Service to check in on the Torrance family because he's worried about Danny. And you see finally Jack makes it to the Gold Room, where there's like this formal, almost like 1920s party going on. You got jazz music in the background. You got all the formal attire. Lloyd's still bartending.
He's tending bar. He said his money's no good here.
Yeah, it isn't.
Which, as Charlie pointed out to me last night, if it's like the 1920s as this party's appearing, his money would literally be no good because they were on the gold standard.
That's why it's the Gold Room.
I thought it was the Cold Room.
Yep. I think there's a guy, his name is Rob Aber. He has a YouTube channel called Collative Learning. And he has a whole like big spiel about the Gold Room and all the symbols behind it.
Damn. Good job, Brandon.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, he orders a drink. Yeah, and money's no good. And he gets stuff spilt on him. And he heads into the bathroom. And the bathroom is the target bathroom. It's so red. And the butler that is tending to him, cleaning his jackets, named Delbert Grady. Similar to the name Charles Grady, who is the man that killed his whole family here. And Jack confronts him about his actions, saying, "You're the guy that killed him." But Grady's like, "That's not true." And Jack's like, "Yeah, you were." And Grady's like, "No, you've always been the caretaker here. I was never a caretaker." And he's like, "I know that you were the caretaker because I've been here all along with you."
And then he does say I had to correct my family too. So he admits it. He's a very odd character. In the space of like 2 minutes, he says he's never been the caretaker. He's always been the caretaker, and I've never hurt my family, and I corrected my family, and you've always been here too.
There's something cool there where like he denies it 3 times, the same way that St. Peter denied knowing Jesus 3 times, and then he asserts it 3 times. It's like, yeah, I've always been here, and yes, I corrected my daughters.
He does. I love how he says that.
Yeah. Every part of this scene, just top tier, horrifying. It's amazing.
I wish I could have made connections to the Bible, but I know literally nothing about religion. So I was like,
As
yeah,
you should know.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
not.
totally, Charlie. That totally makes sense.
I
As Lucas over here is trying to be an atheist hero to his family when he was 11.
I think we're all for atheists or non-religious at the very least, right, Brandon?
I'm
Right,
agnostic.
Brandon?
What are you,
Right.
Seth, officially? What is your... You don't have to say if you don't like. I guess it's kind of intrusive.
Oh, I don't like to do labels or.
He's just a
anything like
guy.
that. Yeah.
You're just hooking up.
What's that?
You're just hooking up. You don't like
I'm just
labels.
hooking. Yeah, me and God are just hooking up.
We're
I
gonna
don't
get it
know if
figured
it's
out.
real
It's
or not.
fine.
Who is the better
He's
hookup?
trying to get real with me, and
Who's
I don't
the better
want to commit
hookup?
to a religion.
God,
so.
Buddha, or Vishnu?
LeBron.
Or LeBron?
Yeah, I don't really believe in anything, but I don't disbelieve in anything. So, like Brandon said, I am just a guy. I don't care either way. There's good, there's
Wise
evil. Who
word,
gives
man.
a shit why?
So now that we've finished religion talk, should we pause?
Yeah.
Yeah, we should pause for a second.
Okay.
I'm going.
Yeah, so we have to pause for
So,
a
real
second.
quick, when I looked over at Luna,
I hope
looking
I'm
at
not killing her back.
You see little
No, it's
Caesar.
so she was doing that.
Yeah.
She saw
'Cause, yeah, I have to
Caesar's
stop
laying
recording
against the door.
2 hours.
She saw his fur from his tail underneath the door, and she was pawing at his fur.
Oh, I didn't see that because I looked back a second later and Caesar was like, I heard scratching, but I didn't see her, and I just saw tiny little black front of the black paws scratching.
Yeah,
the door there.
because he got up and his
Yeah.
hair wasn't under there anymore. She was perplexed by the hair.
It's time to go to the restroom and recalibrate. Here you go. Do some marketing.
Levitate.
How do I market for my brewery?
Keep rotating. Back. There you go.
Oh,
Nope, keep rotating.
Yeah, we're on different.
Bam.
Yeah, there you go.
Literally bam.
We actually just got a full liquor license.
Nice.
We won a bid for it, so in
Bam did?
119 days now,
Yeah.
we'll get a full liquor license.
I know it's like a lottery process. That's cool.
I didn't either. They got the number 1 pick.
Stay here, baby. I'll be back.
I think it's going well. Pretty intense.
So intense that it's in cabins.
Yeah.
Are you winning fantasy this week, basketball?
I don't think so.
No, Kevin did well. Jordy destroyed this week.
Jordy's gonna get his first win in football.
Really?
Yeah. 1-6.
It looks like, oh my God, Lauri Markkanen had 68 fantasy points. I saw a thing, I might have sent it to you, where Lauri Markkanen is the pick for most improved player.
I could see that. Aren't they like 3-0?
Yeah, they are. Him, Colin Sexton is also up there for most improved player. There's still Jordan Poole. There's
They're ruining
again.
their tank.
There's Tyler Hero again, and who's the other one? There's one other big player that's.
Jaden McDaniels.
He's been playing pretty well, but no, it wasn't him.
Yep, you're good. No, you don't worry.
It was. Where's your daddy? It was. Let's take a look. Sports.
Is Seth going to the bathroom?
Yep.
Okay. We're close, and then we got some wrap up. Howdy.
Oh my God.
Quotes, ratings, reviews.
Ball Academy. That's what it was from.
Well, good night. Thanks for having me. Hi, Luna. I gotta get back. Caesar, why did you come?
He comes in here and immediately growls.
Did I?
Oh.
Isn't it? That's kind of goofy why it's not.
Christian Wood. 6th man of the year. No, where's most improved?
Huh. Maybe you have to keep like touching it or something.
Oh. Most improved player. Tyrese Halliburton.
Sorry, Caesar.
Interesting.
Or
I like
Lonnie Walker. Or Devin Vassell. Or Ant.
Hi, guy.
We're doing predictions after 3 games.
It was just one that I saw, like preseason most improved players. Lauri Markkanen was one.
Weird.
He dropped 32 and 12 and 6 tonight or something.
It's pretty good.
Oh, yeah, I think
I saw somebody was talking about.
Alex plugged into your Bluetooth.
Sure.
I saw somebody talking about how most improved and
It's working now.
most improved is different from like who was given more opportunity. Like they gave Ja most improved because he jumped up even though they had the same kind of minutes. Even though people were like, oh, it should be Desmond Bain or somebody else, but
Or
like
Jordan
they got
Poole, but
yeah,
they got more
like double
minutes.
minutes, and their numbers were basically the same just in terms of efficiency.
Right here, am I?
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't disagree.
okay.
Oh yeah, that's me. It's like,
But
who's
yeah,
that?
Tyrese,
Should
sixth
be
man of the
okay.
year, or most improved,
Oh, for sure.
or Lowry.
Bluetooth. Okay, you guys ready?
Yeah. All right. Let me get my notes
Sweet.
back up. I'm not ready actually. Okay, I'm ready. All right. 1, 2, 3. Play. And we're back. We're vampires. So we were in the bathroom, all that. Grady warns Jack that Danny's trying to bring an outside party to the hotel, and that person is Dick. I won't say what they actually said because it got real racy there for a minute.
Yeah, it
It
did.
did.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, it is important to note that it's just, I don't know, there's like a dawning realization that he can be racist, that Jack can. He like gets glee out of that. He's like, oh, the N-word, yes.
I
The
love
guy
it.
says it,
Still on the
No,
table for you, Seth. Thank you.
which just shows like the levels of his scumbaggery. You know, he's looking for anything to demean anybody else.
And at the same time, you're in this hoity-toity hotel where only rich people are. And I don't know, what do you guys want to bet that Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos are into the occasional casual racism as well?
Yeah, totally. Just the
Bezos?
institution of the.
Yeah.
Zuckerberg? No way.
No, my heroes.
My
Queen
idol?
Elizabeth was
My
racist?
king?
No.
Of course she was racist. She was born in like 1830. But Grady's telling Jack all about how his wife has tried to interfere in things, and so he took corrective action before. And he says, you know what, you got to do it too. So Wendy's freaking out, trying to find a way out of here, when Danny starts screaming in a odd voice. It's a Tony voice, but not. It's more exaggerated. A red rum.
Wow,
You
you
love
nailed
the
it.
echo
I
on
did,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like increasingly frantic. Yeah. Yeah. Movie.
All the radio lines for the Overlook Hotel, and we get another title card. 8 a.m.
I think I missed a lot of what you said, but no worries.
8 a.m.
8 a.m.
And so Dick is on a plane towards Denver to go and rescue Danny through the blizzard. And Wendy's walking to find Jack and comes across his workstation without Jack there. So she takes a peek at his script.
I was like a real classic Lukas moment here. When she's walking up to and she's not there, I really wanted her to pan up, the camera to pan up and have Jack being on the ceiling like a spider or a bat. And have it turn into that horror movie.
Certified
It's
Lucas
literally
classic.
Morbius.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
He
what
literally
I wanted out of
morbed
that
in
scene.
front of her.
But he wasn't on the ceiling like a bat.
No.
That's just all modern horror now.
Yeah.
If this was Hereditary, that's how it would have happened.
Mm-hmm.
That scene in Hereditary fucking scares me. When the room's so black and you just see a shadow of her in the corner on the wall.
I do remember watching that in theaters and like not seeing her actually, and everyone like I was there with 6 other people doing a Hereditary viewing. I guess I don't know why.
And then you did a podcast about it.
Yeah, but they were like they're all gasping next to me, and I just to me it's just like a teenage boy sleeping in
Just
a
a
dark
guy.
room, and I was like, what's going on? My buddy Evan leans over, he's like, look on the ceiling. Oh,
It's really
there's a
dark.
lady.
Man, the whole time I was like, Nat Wolf, turn the fuck around on the goddamn ceiling. Spoilers if you haven't seen Hereditary. I say spoilers after we talked about all of that.
It's Nicole Kidman.
It turned around as Nicole Kidman on
Exactly.
the ceiling. Well, the work is not what she expected it to be. It's 100 pages of just all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, which you told us was actually typed out.
Mm-hmm.
That's dedication.
And it's like it's a shitty joke even. It's I don't know. It's just a repeat of like some sort of very shitty baseline.
A very dumb cliche.
Yeah, exactly.
And again, Jack is just a mediocre person, so it fits that he's got a mediocre joke.
Yeah. Well, Jack sneaks up behind her, slowly walks towards her as Danny envisions the blood elevators and the red rum more. And Jack yells at Wendy about her concerns for Danny and not his own self. He's like, "You always care for Danny and not me." And he just slowly moves towards her more and more. And my note is, that's not how you hold a bat, Wendy. She's choking up too high on it.
Yeah, she's never going to hit a dinger.
That's what she was wanting. The whole time she was at Overlook Hotel was to hit one dinger.
No, she does get it.
Because he moves in on her. She fucking domes his ass.
Dumb. Yep.
360 no scopes him. Drops
360 no scope.
Drops him down
Jack.
the stairs. And he falls. He's knocked out. And she fucking locks him in the pantry while he's knocked out. And he wakes up and is screaming for Wendy to let him out of the pantry. And he tells her, he's like, "Oh, if you're not going to let me out, you should go check the surprise I left for you in the garage."
Because, yeah, the only way out of this snowbound hotel is over this sort of snowmobile thing that he pulled all the plugs out of as she runs to go find.
And he also disabled the two-way radio with the Forest Service, so no way to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
If only somebody had like a telepathic communication.
If only.
It was interesting that he knew exactly how to take apart the radio too.
He was like, it will be this one.
Yeah,
Good job.
He took out 3 separate, I assume, battery packs or whatever they were, but it's not like hinted at that he knows how CV radio works or whatever kind of radio it is.
He's not, I don't think, a very like a mechanically oriented guy. So the fact that he's able to pull out all these like car plugs and everything that he needs to, it kind of speaks that the hotel is acting through him, maybe.
The hotel's acting through him, or it lends to the theory that he has the shine, so he knows the past and future, so he's like aware of how to do all this stuff if he's reliving previous murders like that.
I like that. That's going back to you have the shine, but you don't give a shit.
Yeah. Use it for
Or you use it for just pure evil.
I'm just a guy. Oh, after she locks him, she checks the snowcat and whatnot. 4 p.m. That was it. 8 hours later. Jack's sleeping in the pantry, knocked out, and he hears a knock on the door. It's Grady, on the other hand, who tells him he must deal with his family in the harshest way to keep things in order. And Jack agrees to it, and the door just clicks. So you're like, oh fuck, it's unlocked by Grady.
That's the telling moment, right? Or maybe a telling moment if you're of the interpretation that the house is truly haunted and the ghosts are running about.
That is not just Jack or Danny seeing these premonitions. Yeah, that there is a supernatural force acting upon it. Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, on the flip side, you could also interpret it as he found a way to finagle his way out, and that it's just attributed to the ghosts.
Or Wendy felt that and unlocked the door.
I might disagree with that, but I'm not going to completely disagree.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like, you know what? He tried to kill me, but I'm going to unlock the door for him this time.
I mean, that would follow like the unfortunate pattern of abuse where you have to go back to your abuser.
Yeah. Sad. Well,
he does get out.
Dick's getting closer to the hotel. Danny's losing it in the night, saying red rum over and over. He's like grasping a knife, and he writes red rum on the door with his mother's lipstick. She wakes up to his screams to see red rum written on the door through her mirror, and it spells out in reverse, murder.
Yeah.
And just as she reads that, Jack is breaking down the door with an axe. So it's like, oh, it said murder. I can read now.
No, sorry, continue. I'll say it in a sec.
And he's breaking down the door and shit, wielding the axe, and he's ready to kill his family. And they're hiding in the bathroom with Danny, and opens up the bathroom window. Luckily, Danny's able to slide down a snowbank and fit through this window to get help, but she can't. Shelley Duvall's too thick.
I looked up a couple things after watching this, like theory-wise. just because I was very intrigued by it all. I didn't understand it fully, and all the theories I looked up were like, oh, there's multiple interpretations. I was like, okay, that's not helpful. But the one thing I saw that was apparently in the book, it's confirmed that Tony, his imaginary friend character, is him in the future, so he's helping him in the situation. And like watching it, it made sense. He was trying to help. He didn't want to go to the hotel. He read rum to show
Alert them.
Yeah, to alert them that that was going down. But the whole time I was like, why would he be holding the knife and scaring his mom? It was like, so she would take it from him and have it as defense just instinctually, because maybe she doesn't grab it from the nightstand if he's not holding it when he wakes her up.
That's a really good interpretation.
What are you... Brandon's trying to kiss me.
I thought we were about to kiss. That is a really good interpretation. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Do you write that?
Yeah, I wrote that all actually, and then I read it later, pretending it wasn't me. They wrote it all down.
Future, you wrote it for
Past me.
Past, you wrote it.
I have
For
the shine,
future, you
and I
read
just
it.
don't give a shit.
You're just like Jack Nicholson.
In every way.
many ways.
I'm gonna back away just a little bit.
Okay.
They're hiding in the bathroom. Jack's trying to break it down. And I really liked this like wonderful side shot of the axe breaking in the door as Wendy screams, because her acting, being able to visualize it, was like impeccable. This is kind of the trauma that Kubrick put her through.
Well, paid off.
And oftentimes her acting, like as evidenced by the Razzie nomination, has been maligned. And I think that it's a truly great portrayal of someone who's terrified.
Oh, it's great. Because I know Jack Nicholson's like one of the GOATs, basically, but she stayed on par. She
matched him.
Yeah.
In like her own ways.
Yeah.
I thought it was fantastic. I think the only reason people wouldn't take that performance seriously is because of her bug eyes. And I mean that
because she
in a
looked
nice
like a
way.
bird.
Yeah.
I think people are generally, I think a lot of people are in denial about what that kind of terror and abuse actually looks like. And everybody wants to think that they're going to be tougher when something like that is happening to them. But there really are no heroes in that situation. So that just like blind panic and horror, that's perfect.
It's real, yeah.
Hurt all those alpha males' egos out there.
Bring them.
Like, I just would have bought Bitcoin instead of going to this hotel.
Invested in Bitcoin in 1980 instead of gone to the Overlook Hotel.
Yeah, he was a fucking idiot.
If he had the shine, he would have known to invest in Bitcoin.
Using the shine to invest.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, that's a premise.
Danny's gonna be so fucking rich when he grows up.
Apparently, he's not in the
That's the
sequel. He
sequel.
looks homeless. I don't know if
but
Dr.
did
Sleep
the
was
sequel
the
take
sequel.
place post
Again-
2008?
We've talked about this before. A lot of these movies, the powers don't extend to the financial realm, unfortunately.
Yeah,
They
They
don't.
never
like,
use their
like the
power
cow
for
from the outer
financial.
space. Yeah.
it does. Yeah, exactly. Well, he breaks through the door, reaches in to unlock it. She cuts his hand with a knife, stalling him. And just then, Dick arrives, and Jack leaves because he hears the snow cat. He leaves Wendy alone to go and investigate. And Dick walks in, and he just fucking slaughters him with an axe.
R.I.P.
That's what I
Easily the best character, the only one who gets murdered.
Scatman.
The one black man. I mean, it stays true to the horror trope, too, right? The black guy always dies.
Well, and you go back to the Native American genocide.
There we go.
It's kind of a stand-in for the Native Americans. And I don't know if this is true, but I've heard that black people have had a hard time.
Yeah,
Check your record
Not allowed
books
to
there.
teach it in schools anymore,
that's right.
but I've
Can
heard
anybody
about it.
confirm?
That hurt. That hurt. Well, goddamn. Yeah, poor him. He dies. But Dick deserved better.
No kidding.
Mhm, that's exactly what Charlie said, too.
And Danny screams as Dick gets chopped. As he can, I put that he can feel Dick's pain basically, as Dick did when he was choking.
Mhm.
And Jack hears and tries to hobble him down. And Wendy's just wandering the hotel looking for Danny too. And she's hearing people chanting everywhere. And I know that this is explained in the book because I've looked it up. But when just watching the movie, she stumbles across a room where a guy in a bear costume is performing fellatio to a butler. What the fuck was that?
Was it a butler or just a patron of the hotel?
In the book,
Either.
and
It doesn't matter. What
sorry.
the fuck was it?
In the novel, there's it's this rich person hotel, so people are going there to have these like weird sexual dalliances and perversions. So you have like the first furry here, going down on a dude.
But it won't be the last.
In the novel, the dude was trying to sleep with this guy, and the guy said, "I won't sleep with you unless you like show up to this party wearing a dog costume." So he does exactly that, and then they go and do the dirty. And it's just like, I think it's just one of these pieces that Stanley Kubrick picked up from King's novel and decided to augment it a little bit to give a little bit more horror. Like, Wendy's looking for her son, and she sees this apparition of, a dude in a bear costume sucking off some dude.
As one does.
Now, in the book, did the dog costume have no ass part on it, or is that part of the Kubrick genius that we've come to expect?
I think King left that part out.
Okay, that's
Assless chaps was a part of
It's a
Kubrick's vision.
Kubrick standard. Okay,
He had the shine. He knew. He visioned assless chaps before it happened.
I am glad there's like an actual explanation for that, and it wasn't just. I mean, I didn't think it would have no meaning behind it, being the perfectionist that he is. But I was also very confused by that and didn't find an answer until just now. So thank you.
So that happens, and Danny runs outside into the hedge maze to hide from Jack. And I put love in these tracking shots to the maze, just like before on the tricycle. And they're always in the center of the screen. Jack's following the footprints of Danny in the snow.
Mm-hmm.
And Wendy wanders to find Dick dead on the ground with some crazy-ass crash zoom again. And she even sees an all-bloodied Grady. He's telling her, like, this party's awesome. Thanks, Grady.
And it's interesting because he's like Charles Grady at this point, right? It's not Delbert Grady. There's some goofy duality between them.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
And she even wanders into a ballroom to see it full of skeletons. Everything's covered in cobwebs.
It's like the surreal symbolism is like ramping up as we near the climax.
As we near the climax, yeah. She's seeing what everybody else has seen up to this point. And Danny learns to backtrack in his footsteps and cover up his new steps so that he can hide from Jack. And when Wendy, she's making her way through, finally makes her way to the elevator doors, she's the one that experiences the blood gushing through those red doors.
And this is
interesting.
Like peak, what is reality? What is just manifestation? I don't know. Everything is like, I don't know. It's very ethereal. We're watching it right now. You see on the silent of the movie.
What? You're watching the movie right now?
We just have it on silent.
Yeah. Oh.
We're at that scene exactly.
Yeah, because we're almost at the length of the movie right now. So, Danny does eventually escape the maze as Jack aimlessly wanders for him, and he finds Wendy as they start at the snowcat and leave. And Jack is just like incoherently mumbling and screaming nonsense in the maze, and he sits down for a moment to rest. And I love this cut because as he sits, it's just a cut to the next morning, 8 a.m. It doesn't say 8 a.m., but it
he looks so doofy.
One of the silliest faces you could ever make, let alone
Lukas
being frozen in it.
Yeah, Lukas and I were talking about this earlier, and Lukas mentioned, like, for this, like, evil mastermind, he's kind of a fucking idiot.
He really is. A frozen ass.
He's like cross-eyed and
Yeah.
has that underfight going.
And the way that he's screaming, he's just incoherent.
Yeah.
And mostly mad that his wife and son got the better of him and outsmarted him.
Yeah, not that he's dying.
Yeah.
Seth told me that when he watched that scene of him incoherently screaming, it was like song lyrics.
I rented it on Amazon because it was $2 and I don't have the HBO Max and I didn't feel like going to 1, 2, 3 movies to like screen share or whatever.
Yeah.
But the subtitles, they were song lyrics. So like, I'm going to San Francisco. Like it felt like an old jazzy tune. Like he was almost singing the end credit, like lyrics to the end credit song. So he was singing the song for a little bit, and then he heard the snowcat driving away, and the last two things he mumbles, at least for the subtitles, was Wendy and wait. So like from that perspective, it almost looked and felt like he'd kind of come out of his craziness, for lack of a better word. Like he'd come back to some semblance of himself. but he was still holding the axe, and he still froze like a doofus. So I don't think he actually came out of it. But it is a possibility that once they were out of the vicinity, maybe that some sort of spell had been broken. Or
I love the fact that like crazy trance Jack Nicholson is just singing song lyrics out in the. He's just hitting like a fly me to the moon while out there.
I almost want to like rewatch it when it was something like that though. It's like, I'm going to San Francisco, like because he was mumbling, but he was still kind of melodic with it. So I need to watch it again when I get home, at least that scene, and like show you what the lyrics were.
Well, after this doofy face of him frozen to death, you get inside the hotel, and as you leave the gold room, you zoom in on some pictures on the wall, one in particular being from July 4th, 1921, at a party here in the hotel. And front and center is Mr. Jack Torrance. Zooms in a couple times, and that is the end of The Shining.
A masterpiece.
Did you say the picture was from 1921?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not listening, apparently.
And that is the end. So, oh yeah, let's clap again. That's the end of The Shining. Thanks, Seth, for starting up that round of applause again. That's what you do. You're just a guy.
You do that a lot.
All right. Course?
Yeah, let's do some quotes, ratings, and reviews, and maybe a recommendation.
Yeehaw!
Yeehaw, indeed, boys.
Got to get one yeehaw in every episode. Downtown Spookboys.
Downtown Spookboys. Quotes. Charlie, I don't know if you had any quotes prepared. We didn't really take notes during the movie. Is there any that jump out to you that you'd like to start out with? We can. Yeah, we can come back to you too. I have 5 quotes. I took 4 quotes. No, 5 quotes. I got 5 quotes.
I have too many. I think I have 15.
That's quite a bit. Seth?
Oh, I had like barely any. I have 4.
Okay.
I have 17 quotes. What the fuck was I doing?
What the fuck were you doing?
I was watching it in Walmart, okay? I was just writing things down.
Shouldn't you be working?
You guys just do all of your quotes. I will take whatever's left over.
Sure.
Okay.
Seth, you can go ahead and do your first 4.
All right. Okay, so they first get to the hotel. He's talking with Mr. Ullman. And
The Flashing?
What? Oh, yeah.
You
Don't worry,
titled
it's
your notes
fine.
The
Don't worry about it.
Flashing.
But he's talking to Mr. Ullman, or Mr. Ullman says to him, to his little assistant guy, he's like, will you have the Torrance's things brought to their apartment? And he goes, fine. Like,
Yeah,
a
that
little
was
kid
one of my
almost.
quotes.
Damn, I'm sorry.
Bill was not here for the bullshit.
He was
That
not.
was not one of my 17.
That's crazy. This is when Wendy and Danny are racing to the hedge maze, and she says the loser has to keep America clean.
Oh, I missed that. I should have taken that.
They kept saying it. It was so funny.
That is funny.
What is this? Oh, we already did this one kind of, but nothing serious. Just a little problem with the old sperm bank upstairs when he first meets Lloyd.
Yep.
And
What a shitty line.
It's terrible. I think this is the very end of that same scene. He takes a drink of the whiskey for the first time in a while because he's sober, quote unquote. Says, here's to 5 miserable months on the wagon and all the irreparable harm that it's caused me.
I took that too. I thought it was good.
Like the
Me too,
sobering
yeah.
harmed him more than the
Yeah.
alcoholism. That's crazy. I figured everybody would have that one, honestly.
Charlie? You want to steal one of mine, perhaps?
Down to 15.
Either of those.
I'll do a dramatic reading of the first
Oh,
one.
do
Oh,
it.
perfect.
Let's go.
Gotta do my best, Jack.
Wendy, darling, light of my life, I'm not gonna hurt you. You didn't let me finish my sentence. I said, I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your brains in. I'm just gonna bash them right the fuck in.
That was one of mine.
Yeah,
I like that.
Light of my life.
Lucas, thanks for getting the double camera on him there for a minute, too.
Oh, of course.
The dub. Got the dub.
That's just such a great, like, I'm not going to hurt you, I'm just going to bash your fucking brains in. That's a
Could be
genuinely
painless.
fun.
That was
You'll
good,
never
yeah.
know.
I was not expecting that, and I'd seen it.
And then our last two that we have here when he's breaking in here. The very famous one is "Here's Johnny," but the
Yep.
one I'm particular to is he smashes through and goes, "Wendy, I'm home."
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that one made me laugh.
Please leave it to Beaver. Yeah.
Wendy, I'm
I love
home.
Lucy. Our final one here is probably my biggest laugh. It's when Halloran is coming up.
Charlie's already laughing.
Yeah, it's great. He's on the phone with the garage owner, and he says, "I need a snowmobile." And the guy goes, "Why do you need it up there?" And he said, "I'm afraid the people running the place turned out to be unreliable assholes."
That's pretty
Not
good.
that they're psychos or endangered. They're fucking dicks.
What an ass.
Yeah. All right, Brandon.
Okay, so you guys took 3 of mine in the end.
This is a quote from Audible.
Here's Johnny was one of them. Red Rum was one of them. The Danny's not here, Mrs. Torrance was one of them as well, because I thought all those 3 were relatively quotable. Bash them the right the fuck in. Irreparable harm with the drinking. Oh, here's one. Dick tells Danny, some places are like people. Some shine and some don't. I thought that was really good. This one really got me when they were touring the place and the guy, Mr. Ullman, showed him their room. And like Jack was too excited about this because he was like, living room, bedroom, bathroom, and a small room for your son. And Jack just goes, perfect for a child. I was like,
perfect size for a child.
He's too excited about that.
He was stoked.
I got one that I was kind of excited about just knowing the ending. It's Mr. Ullman again saying, everyone tries to get out of here as early as possible. By 5 o'clock tonight, you'll never have known anyone was here. And Wendy goes, kind of like a ghost ship, huh? And he goes, exactly.
That's the plot. You got it, Wendy.
This is from Danny. He just goes, Tony's the little boy that lives in my mouth. Like, if you didn't watch the movie, that's an absurd quote.
Yucky.
This is while Jack is typing. Wendy comes up to him and she goes, hey, the weather says it's going to snow tonight. And he goes, well, what the fuck you want me to do about it? Like, this is him being so cold to her.
That's like the That 70s Show quote. Jackie's like, man, it's cold. I wish. And Council goes, well, I don't control the weather, Jackie. Damn.
Yeah. Exactly. Another foreshadowing quote. Danny, do you like this hotel? I guess so. Well, good. I want you to like this hotel. I wish we could stay here forever and ever and ever.
Hotel California.
That it's another thing that maybe that
good
he's
parallel.
Maybe another sign that he could have a shine aspect to him, as he's maybe seen the twin girls as well, quoting them directly. I always liked you. I always liked you, Lloyd. This is Jack talking to the bartender. The best goddamn bartender from Timbuktu to Portland, Maine. Or Portland, Oregon, for that matter. Didn't matter. You didn't need to say that. Sperm bank upstairs, yeah. Mr. Torrance, what'll it be? This is at the party. Lloyd talking to him again. He goes, hair of the dog that bit me. And Lloyd's just like, bourbon on the rocks then.
Yeah, yes, a phrase I never really understood.
Yeah, no, I don't.
That means.
Yeah, like if you drink real heavily one night, then they say drink the same of what you had last night to cure the hangover. It says hair of the dog.
Okay. That makes sense, totally.
3 more quotes. This is very thickly Jack and the Maze go, Dave!
Going to San Francisco.
Exactly. I've got a me quote here, which was the damn, she fucking tall as shit.
You quote yourself again?
Of course. That's a new bit.
Yeah, and everybody loves it.
Everybody loves Mel.
Yeah,
and my last quote is one from Lukas that was not done. Jack Nicholson has cum gutters.
Oh yeah, that was an example of stuff not to say on the podcast.
So I had to throw it in there. Jack Nicholson has those cum gutters.
Yeah, we're having an informative, professional sounding podcast. We don't want to say stuff like that. You're right.
Seth's losing it over here.
Well, I thought it was so funny that I showed my coworker our whole conversation about it.
About the cum gutters?
Yeah. Oh man.
For
right.
anybody that hasn't tuned in regularly, as I talk about cum gutters for like the 6th time on this podcast,
Usually it's
those are
about
the-
teenagers.
usually about teenagers. It's the oblique muscles, the V,
Yeah.
Is that what those are called?
the obliques. Yeah.
I thought obliques were like upper body for some reason.
No,
I'm thinking
Silly.
of whatever these are.
those are
Shoulders.
traps.
Traps?
That is your shoulder, asshole.
Did you guys finish? Did you guys finish all your quotes?
Yep.
Yeah.
Quotes. Ratings time. Y'all want to
There
get
was a
some
cool
ratings? Oh,
Stephen
Yes, of
King
course I
quote
do.
that I heard.
What?
There was
I
a cool
wanna hear it.
Stephen King quote that I heard when he was talking about the movie. Because Charlie had already mentioned in the Stephen King book it was From Without, and in the movie
Without
it was
a
From
Paddle.
Within. Yeah, Without a Paddle. But he said the biggest difference in interpretation of these events, and it was cool to hear him talk about his own writing in third person, like he wasn't the one that wrote it all and had a meaning behind it. He was like, the difference is in my book, it ends in the house burning down, and in the end of the movie, everything is frozen over.
Ooh.
I just thought it was cool.
Hmm.
But yeah, ratings and reviews.
I have to chew on that for a second.
We both had the same.
They really
dumb
were without a
joke.
paddle, huh?
I mean, that kind of lends itself to the Stephen King's idea that it's all hell, and Kubrick's idea that it may be all real.
Isn't
It's all natural.
this? Well, isn't the seventh layer of hell in Dante's Inferno like freezing cold? Isn't that like the
Well,
worst?
Ooh, you guys are ahead of me. The ninth, you say, Charlie?
Yeah, ninth circle of hell.
Seven. Okay, I thought
didn't
they were
even
all-
That's
know
the
the
deepest,
first.
I haven't-
right?
Yep,
I
that's
haven't
where
read it.
Satan
I thought-
and Brutus and Cassius and Judas are.
Oh, damn.
I haven't read Dante's Inferno. I thought 7 was the deepest, which is why I said 7. I thought that was 7 and 7. But 9, I did read somewhere that it was extremely cold and the winds are harsh and the winds are caused by Satan trying to escape. Flapping his
Right.
wings.
When you said all that, I was just imagining a 7-layer bar, and the 7th layer is just hell. The hell is my
burrito.
favorite parts of the 7-layer bar. Yeah.
Beefy 5 layer. The fifth layer is scorching hot cheese from hell.
You guys want to guess some ratings?
Of course we do.
I don't know if Charlie, you've seen them or not. With the
Guess
guess in the.
the.
Here
Here we go.
The
He's
tomatoes.
He's still looking.
Yeah.
Out
those
of
ratings.
100.
What do you guys think this is rated? Charlie, do you have a guess?
Like 90.
90, okay.
Damn,
Brandon?
that's a-
Is this you said Rotten Tomatoes?
Tomato meter, the critics out of 100.
Critics 87.
Okay, Seth?
I am gonna say 91, but I really did want to say 90. I'm not doing the prices right.
Sorry, Seth. It is 82%. Yeah, I
Cringe.
remember a little bit that it kind of panned when it did come out.
Yeah, because I was gonna
Unfairly,
say
I
like
think we always
I was
say.
gonna say like 93, but I dropped it only 6 apparently.
Yeah.
But it was
Closest
panned.
to
I should have
Friday.
dropped it more retroactively.
But how about
Good
the
job.
audience? Seth, you first.
Oh shit.
Out of 100.
For some reason, I feel like the audience was worse on it. I'm gonna say like 74.
Ooh, okay. Charlie?
I'll go with 86.
86 and Brandon.
See, I'm opposite of Seth. I think people loved it. I'm gonna go 91.
Ooh, Brandon is close again. It's 93.
Shit.
In the
Nah.
book.
Kind of shows how universally beloved this movie is.
Kind of
Yeah.
shows how stupid I am. What the hell?
You do
IMDb
not agree with the public.
IMDb Metascore. These are critics out of 100.
Who's going first?
Oh shit,
Chicken and
Brandon
egg.
is.
I'm going first.
Brandon's the chicken.
What was Rotten Tomato critic?
82.
76.
Okay. Seth?
That's a good guess.
Just say it.
77.
And Charlie?
I'm going to go higher. I'm going to say 92.
Interesting. I think this must be where the critics of the early times played in, because it is a 66. That is surprisingly low. It was in
Yes.
the yellow shade of the
Not a
of the
green, yeah.
scoring grading. Yeah.
I thought Roger Ebert really loved it.
We will learn about Ebert here in a second.
I did see I did
No, you're
Give me
good.
the spoil.
because I did do a
Big
little
Rod,
bit
we
of
call
like looking into this movie. I did see that Big Raj gave it I think a 100.
And
So
I do have a screenshot of something you said too, just in case you don't have it.
okay.
And then finally, we have IMDb user ratings out of 10. Let's go Seth first.
Oh, shit.
Shit.
Here we go again.
10?
Yep.
Oh. 7.6.
You.
Interesting. Brandon?
I'm not gonna guess 7.6, but that was my last guess, so I thought you were feeding on it. So I know that this is like IMDb like top 250, it's like number 50 or something.
Shit.
Like it's somewhere up there. So I'm gonna guess like 8.5.
8.5 for Brandon and Charlie.
I'm thinking 8.7.
8.7. Charlie and Brandon are both very close. It's an 8.4.
I've made a mistake.
I got
You
all
did.
4.
It is the 61st best movie of all time, according to IMDb.
61st. Okay, I wasn't too far off.
So what are we rating this movie? We'll go Charlie as the guest first. Out of 10, it's called the lasagna scale for actor John Leguizamo.
Yeah, so we can be
Devin
objective.
accidentally called him John Lasagna one day, and it just stuck.
And we do it,
Ostensibly.
10, 1 to 10, or I guess 0 to 10, and decimal points, yeah.
Honestly, like I'd go like a 9.7. I'd say this
Totally.
is as close to perfect as you can get.
Totally respectable answer. Seth!
Me?
That's you.
Yep.
Okay. Brandon, please don't. I'll say like an 8.8.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know how to justify myself, though. Cool shot. I thought
That's
that
fair.
sound. Actually, I'm gonna say 9.1. The sound, looking back on it, was actually genius. That was probably half the movie. Was the sound design. If without it,
sure.
different sound design or without it entirely, it's not even close to the same movie. You don't even get the tones are completely different or just gone.
Gone
That's
girl.
fair.
Gone girl. 8.9.
God damn you.
We have 3 scores. All right, Brandon's
Which
your
averaged
favorite.
out to 8.9. So there you go.
nice.
I'm a 9.5.
Yeah.
I said this earlier. I think
I thought you were 5'9".
I'm 5'7". I think we've already talked about this before. Like it's hard to make like a comedy movie. It's easier to make maybe a love movie, but it's hardest to make a good movie. And I think trying to make a scary movie when the initial subject material that's on the screen itself isn't scary gives a huge nod to the film itself and the filmmaking of it. So it goes a long way with every little detail that they've added into it, where once again, you can cut that tension with a knife every second. So 9.5 for me.
9.5. Mine's
9.5
gonna be
for
pretty
everybody.
similar to your guys. I'll round it out with it was a 9.9. It's almost not fair to compare Kubrick to like other movie makers. I feel like other movies like try to make movies and he just makes movies, if that makes sense.
Movies.
He's pretty unassailable, I think, and The Shining is a great.
Kubrick was
example
a
of that.
fucking Downtown Spookboy, is what you're saying.
He definitely was. He's
Thanks for
This is-
agreeing.
the perfect horror movie if there ever was one.
That's why we did it for this week. So, alrighty.
Moving on to reviews, our penultimate section. We're so close, guys. So we brought it up before. Our first critic reviewer is Roger Ebert, Big Rog.
Big
He
Rock.
said in his review from 2007 that the movie is not about ghosts, but about madness and the energies it sets loose in an isolated situation primed to magnify them. And they give it a 4 out of 4 stars.
Classic 4-star scale.
But I have his partner, Gene Siskel of Siskel and Ebert.
Gene Simmons.
That's the guy. In 1980, he said, disappointing. Jack Nicholson parodies himself while Kubrick fails to provide any thrills. I think he gave it 2 stars out of 4.
Oh.
So on Ebert and Siskel, it averages to a 3.
I bet that was a hotly debated week of television on Siskel and Ebert.
that was their
they have a TV
drop
show?
dead Fred.
Yeah.
You just say that to your team, Jack.
Our penultimate review is from also one of the
Team
GOAT
Jack or Team
reviewers, movie critic Pauline Kael of The New Yorker. She says, though taken from a pulp bestseller by Stephen King, the movie isn't the scary, fun one might hope from a virtuoso technician like Kubrick. There's a promising opening sequence, and there's some spectacular use of the Steadicam, but Kubrick isn't interested in the people on the screen as individuals. They are as archetypes, and he's using them to make a metaphysical statement about the timelessness of evil. He's telling us that man is a murderer through eternity. Kubrick's involvement in technology distances us from his meaning, though, and while we're watching the film, it just doesn't seem to make sense. So kind of a harsh saying it's real cold.
But still kind of a positive review in it, in a way.
Recognizing the brilliance of the filmmaking, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
And then finally, I thought this was an interesting one I stumbled across earlier. This is from Adam Naiman at The Ringer. He says, the altered tone suits Kubrick's gallows humor, which is always about confronting and critiquing his audience's baser impulses. Reinventing The Shining as a slapstick comedy about murderous patriarchal insecurity is a daring move, essentially saying that The Shining is a black comedy. The darkest of all comedies. Exactly.
It's so weird hearing like The Ringer doing movie reviews.
Instead of fantasy football blurbs.
Or just Bill Simmons going on a pointless tirade.
Or Gene Simmons.
Or Gene Simmons going on a pointless tirade.
All right,
Ben Simmons.
We're into our last little bit here. User reviews. We have our girl, the little songbird.
Oh, yeah.
I
of course
dislike her.
She says that The Shining is more chilling rather than shocking. The blood flowing from the doors and the old woman in the bathtub made my hair stand up on the back of my neck and is constantly discomforting in an eerie sort of way. Jack Nicholson gives a barnstorming performance as Jack, a performance that is both hammy and disturbing, and Shelley Duvall does decently in a somewhat thankless role. Young Danny Lloyd is superb as Danny. It is overall a film with one or two problems and a very loose adaptation, but is a chilling adaptation with Kubrick succeeding at being different. 9 out of 10.
Nice.
And she's never been one for brevity. We know that.
We know it, but that was a good review.
Did you have to cut out a good amount there?
Yeah.
3 paragraphs for sure. 7 or 8, goddamn.
Yeah.
It was The Shining.
The other 7 and 8 was just all work and don't play makes the little songbird.
She really got into it. This one is from Mookie Award winner Snoopy Style. He says, as a horror, this is not scary. It doesn't make you turn away from the screen. There is not a thrilling drama or an exciting action movie. This is simply art and nothing less. Director Stanley Kubrick is impeccable in his vision. It imparts a mood of foreboding. There is a feeling of wrongness about every scene of this movie. It makes the audiences uneasy. There is a creepiness that haunts. And I think he gave that a 10 out of 10.
Okay. I was worried there for a bit because it was like, this isn't scary at all. It doesn't make you look away. But then he said this is pure art. And I was like, there we go.
Snoopy Style, me, a.k.a.
No.
is a genius.
You're Sethin.
Sethin was a racist.
Yeah, isn't he
Literally
the racist
look
one?
at your name on
What have you
Skype.
done?
You're Sethin.
Why did you do that?
All right. I switched over platforms to Letterboxd here. So this is Letterboxd reviewer Jamie in September of 2017. Says something in this movie happens, and some guy who just loves going absolutely crazy on the cello goes, that's my cue. 3.5 out of 5 stars.
I like it.
In a similar vein, Abby in October of 2019 on Letterboxd says, if it was me, I would have simply not gone crazy. 5 out of 5 stars.
Bold
I
statement.
love Letterboxd reviews.
Bold statement
I
from
know.
Abby. She's just
And
a
then
girl.
Our penultimate review here is from Letterboxd reviewer Silent Dawn on November 11th, 2019, Armistice Day. Primarily a film about abuse and how sanity is often impossible to return to once it's lost. Jack Nicholson gives a performance that goes from fully crazy to existential specter of rage and terror over the course of 2 hours and change. Undoubtedly a masterpiece. 5 out of 5 stars. And finally, so go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say, so the lowest so far has been 3.5 out of 5.
I think Siskel gave it a 2 out of 4.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Well, Siskel's dead, so we don't care.
That's also true.
Our final review is from IMDb user Chaos Rampant, who never gave a score, but in 2009 they said, Kubrick's cinema is, as usually, a sight to behold. We get the adventurous camera that prowls through the lavish corridors of the Overlook Hotel like it's some kind of mystic labyrinth rife for exploration. Linear tracking shots exposing impeccably decorated interiors in symmetric grandeur. The geometrical approach in how Kubrick perceives space reminds me very much of Japanese directors of some 10 years before. and that what is depicted in the frame, the elements of narrative, is borderline inconsequential to how they all balance and harmonize together. No rating.
A lot
I
of
don't
big
have a lot to
words,
say, yeah.
but not a pretentious review in any way.
Ostensibly. And we've reached the end of our show.
We're both right.
Are we recommending this movie?
What's
to
the other word
people?
you said in your thing aside from ostensibly?
Oh, we got in trouble. Yeah, that was with Charlie. We got in trouble for
Oh,
saying
you
big
did that
words.
presentation?
That's yeah. Magnum opus.
Magnum opus.
and
That's
what
what it
the
was.
other one?
Ostensibly.
There's a whole
Interesting.
bunch.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there was a lot of them.
Metaphysical.
Oh, I love metaphysics.
They
Yeah, metaphysics. Yeah,
they got
he's
on
a
you for
hardcore man.
metaphysical?
Yep.
Yeah, he's
Ostensibly they did.
Yeah.
The professor's kind of a douche.
As professors can be. So, are we recommending this movie?
Yes.
Brandon,
Yes.
Seth,
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Charlie,
Yes.
Wholeheartedly.
and I will as well.
Yes.
Watch the movie. Everyone has seen it, but watch.
Movie.
And that's the show.
That's the show. Oh, I have to announce our winner.
Our winner.
Oh. Let's do it.
Ciphered through all of our submissions.
And he put him in a hat.
I did not put him in a hat
Then this isn't a real winner.
because
we have to do it again.
Because I looked back and I saw 3 on there, but then I realized that 2 were old ones. So we had 1 submission
Nice.
Since we started the giveaway.
since we started the giveaway. So I'm gonna play the winner here.
Oh my goodness.
This is Kelly putting in my name for the big hat that Seth promised.
Did I promise a big hat?
Yeah. No, you promised them to be put in a big hat, but there's no point in putting them in a big hat.
How many?
So we got 1 submission. It was obviously
Congrats,
Kelly.
Kelly.
Yeah, I thought it could have been Rat Boy. I did show him how to do that.
Shout out Kelly. Shout out Rat Boy.
Shout out Rat Boy. I thought I showed him how to do the not showed him, but walked him through it because I've never met him. How to do the anchor thing because I just recently found out
How to do it.
I couldn't figure it out. I go on the Anchor app, I go to the page and everything. It's just like, do you like it or not? Like, give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down.
Well, did you give it a thumbs up?
No. But if
Fuck
you go
you.
on Spotify or probably any of the websites, if you go under the description of it, and Brandon's got all of his notes for the episode, there's a link to Anchor. If you click that link, it takes you like right to how to record. So here's a tutorial for everybody besides Kelly and Devin and Lukas has already done it.
For our next giveaway.
Yeah.
Lucas has never given a voice message.
What? Oh no,
I'm
he
not.
just gave a review, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Well, I guess this is the Downtown Spookboys signing off for the last time
Yeah.
ever. Until next week when I do it as
Thank
a
you,
bit
Charlie, for
intro.
being on here. We really
Thank you
appreciate
for having
Charlie,
me.
for
Yeah,
being
you're
on.
great
Yeah.
guest.
A lot of good insight. Really appreciate all
Yeah.
that.
I love a knowledgeable
Thanks for
guest.
having me.
Yeah.
Next week we are jumping into November, and the first week is actually a Devin choice because it's his birthday coming up. I told him he has to be on. We're gonna be drinking the beers
Or
from
else.
Bilson,
Mm-hmm.
so we got that going.
Bill
Um,
Bilson Tilson.
Bill
So
Bilson Tilson.
funny.
And then for the rest of November, just in case you guys want to watch ahead of time, we have the rest of the month planned out. After that, we're gonna do Even Dwarves Started Small.
Werner Herzog.
Then we're gonna do the Palme d'Or winner, Uncle Boon Me, who can recall his past lives. The one that Seth said looks cute.
Yeah.
And then finishing off the month with The Last Unicorn.
You did not.
I put The Last Unicorn on there. So that's what we got here until we make our
What a
way
month.
into our holiday movies.
What a month.
What a month. What a month.
Gadoosh.
See you later.
No, that's not your sign off.
Love you. Bye.
There you go. See you guys next week.
Bye, guys.
We did it.
Brandon won't let me get away from my sign off.
Never.
Oh, shit. Brand, I'll probably send you that other file in the morning here.
Yo, that's okay, man. My guy.
All right.
Have a good night, guys. Thank you.
See you guys.
See you guys.
Love you. Bye.
Your sign off.
Ostensibly. then there's more. Oh no, Lucas is dead frozen.
I'm just gonna keep it on until everybody leaves. That means you, Seth.
All right. Bye, Alex.
That's not Alex.
I know.
And then there were two. And then there were